All right, so let's do the test. But let me read you an excerpt from a book by Chinua Achebe. The book is titled No Longer at Ease. This is a very good novel, by the way, very good one, published in 1962. And I'm going to read you an excerpt that I want you to judge. Somewhere on the Lagos mainland, the Umuofia Progressive Union was holding an emergency meeting. Umuofia is an Igbo village in eastern Nigeria and the hometown of Obi Okonkwo. It is not a particularly big village, but its inhabitants call it a town. They are very proud of its past, when it was the terror of their neighbors before the white man came and leveled everybody down. Those Umuofians, that's the name they call themselves, who leave their hometown to find work in town towns for years or so to spend their leave. When they have saved up enough money, they ask their relations at home to find them a wife, or they build a zinc house on their family land. No matter where they are in Nigeria, they start a local branch of the Umuofia Progressive Union. So they came together to have a meeting. The president, in due course, looked at his pocket watch and announced that it was time to declare the meeting open. That's the meeting of the Umuofia Progressive Union. Everybody stood up and he said a short prayer. Then he presented 3 kola nuts to the meeting. The oldest man present broke one of them, saying another kind of prayer while he did it. Please pay attention, because this is where the question is coming from. He that brings kola nuts brings life, he said. We do not seek to hurt any man, but if any man seeks to hurt us, may he break his neck. The congregation answered, Amen. We are strangers in this land. If good comes to it, may we have our share. Amen. But if bad comes to it, let it go to the owners of the land who know what gods should be appeased. Amen. Here's the question, and then you can come up to tell us what you think. You can talk about the news thing, tell me what you think about this as well. Is this a representation? Is this a representation of reality, or is it just fiction? And here's what I'm saying. There's a prayer that the elderly man said. He said, we do not seek to hurt any man, but if any man seeks to hurt us, may he break his neck. The congregation answered, Amen. We are strangers. This is what I'm actually, we are strangers in this land. If good comes to it, may we have our share. Amen. But if bad comes, let it go to the owners of the land who know what gods should be appeased. Amen. I hope you understood the question. Is this just fiction, or is this a representation of reality as far as Nigeria's story is concerned? I'll bring people up now. If you want to talk, we'll talk about this for a bit before we call it a day. Thank you very much. We have our first student that wants to write his exam. You are coming with pen and paper, Abi? What would be good evening?
Good evening, Prof.
Good evening, sir.
I've been itching to make this comment all week long. I don't know why it's been skipping my mind. In fact, since last week. First of all, let me answer the question. From my own observation, this is pure reality. There's nothing close to fiction in this statement. And I say that because since this whole insecurity issue that has feathered down to the southwestern part of Nigeria, you would assume the people that are saying that now they are part of this, they are indigenous to every part of the country and everywhere, we would believe that they will be teaming to go into the forest to help us fight insecurity. We would be thinking that these people would be helping out with the Amotekun and the rest. We believe maybe all these socio-cultural units that they have all over Lagos, all over Ibadan and everything, claiming one right or the other. We believe that they would come and team together with the local vigilantes and go into the bushes and help out. They're not doing it in a window. They're not doing it in Ekiti, they're not doing it in Lagos, they're not doing it in Osun, they're not doing it in Abeokuta, in Ogun State. So it's just a reality. This is the reality for people that keep making excuses for them. This just nails it. This just totally represents everything that is on to the progress of it. They are going to talk down the land at every opportunity they have, and when the shit hits the fan, they are going to be the first to make a run for the door. So this is just the reality of it. Thank you very much, Prof.
Thank you very much, Bumblebee. That's a fantastic response. I'm going to clap for you. I will bring other people, but let me quickly say this. I just read you an excerpt from a book by Chinua Achebe. The book is titled No Longer at Ease, and it was published in 1962. And just in case you're just coming in, I'm going to read the portion that has to do with this conversation. So the setting is a meeting of Umuofia Progressive Union, who are sojourners in other parts of Nigeria, all right? And they are met to discuss some matters, right? And so the president presents 3 kola nuts, and an elder picks the kola nut and begins to pray. And one of the things he said while praying is that, let me just read it from this place. We do not seek to hurt any man, but if any man seeks to hurt us, may he break his neck. Now, when you hear that, you say, okay, the person is speaking as a normal human being, because of course, you know, but the crux of the matter, which is where we're focusing on in this conversation, is the next part of the prayer. We are strangers in this land. If good comes to it, may we have our share. The congregation answered, Amen. But if bad comes, let it go to the owners of the land who know what gods should be appeased. And the question, I have an opinion, but let me just add another scenario. I mentioned something here some days ago when I was discussing the reality of Lagos. And I said that there was a man who originally was a no-pay man. Okay? Of course, he's known as Oshodi Takpa in Yoruba history and Lagos history specifically. Oshodi Takpa moved into Lagos, got into Lagos. I don't want to talk about the situation surrounding his arrival in Lagos, but it wasn't palatable. But here's the thing. Eventually, he found his way into the palace of the king and worked for the king, was a no-pay man, so that's what we call no-pay people Takpa in Yoruba land. Now, he rose through the ranks, began to work with the king. Now, in 1851, when the bombardment of Lagos happened, that was the bad in our land. When the bombardment took place, Oshodi Takpa fought with Lagos against the British. You can discuss the details later, but the point is, Batonshi bombardment here, Oshodi Takpa was on Lagos side against the so-called invaders. And I said, a people who would drop everything, who would leave everything at the drop of the hat and jump and run back to where they came from, should not be the ones telling us how to run our spaces. That's that from that. Now, in Yoruba philosophy, we have a saying, and you see it in one of our proverbs. All right? Loosely translated, the pigeon who says with the owner of the house when things are rosy will not leave as soon as things go all right. Okay? The point is that he's supposed to be loyal because they were together when things were good. He ate with the owner of the land, the landlord, they had fun. So if things go all right, he should still be present. That's loyalty. But what we're seeing from the writing of Chinua Achebe is totally different from Yoruba philosophy. And to Yoruba people who are always saying, it doesn't really matter, we are all one. We are not one. And it's not because we are trying to divide ourselves, it's because we are trying to understand the reality of who we are as cultures. It doesn't mean we cannot work together. It doesn't mean we cannot have a unity of purpose for particular things. But we should not assume unity or assume sameness. We are not the same. So if in your culture you have a saying, and you are reading here that we are strangers in this land. If good comes to it, may we have our share. But if bad comes to it, let it go to the owners of the land, for they know the gods to appease. In other words, if something bad happen, may go to people who get the place. But if something good happens, we must share together. But if something bad happens, make them take up. So here's the question again. Is this fiction? Because again, I wrote it in 62. This was after things were apart. And the book is titled No Longer at Ease. That's what he wrote in his book. Is it fiction? Or is it a representation of reality? That's the question. And this is our continuous assessment because we are marking. That's a joke, by the way, but it's actually a very serious conversation. So here's the point. Again, I'm going to bring up. So Bumblebee answered the question and said it's not just fiction, that it's reality. I think someone else wants to share their thoughts. I'll bring that person up and then we'll talk about it. This is Mr. Fola. And thank you in the comment section for your feedback. Apparently, our audio is good. So let's have Mr. Fola. Rich, good evening, sir.
Hello, sir.
There? Yes, sir. Welcome.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Please, yes, sir. Yes, Mokofe, I want to say thank you for what you've said, but I want to, if you recall, this takes me back to what happened in June 12 election, and yes, after June 12 in 93, then MKO declared himself in 94. You understand?
I understand.
These people moved en masse from Lagos so rapidly. It was so alarming. Like, because there was riots everywhere. I myself was a younger person, was caught up in one of the riots. It was terrible. But immediately it was heard, everybody began to run out. And I now start to look at it that if of unity, or we all belong to the same whatever, because I don't think it's a nation or a country. Why do we not take ownership when things are bad? So what I'm trying to say in essence is that based on history, this one is not just it's not an hypothesis. Based on history and based on what we know that these they will flee when there's problems. So it is totally wrong, in my opinion, and it should never be. Antaba wo so it's but I want to show pé lọ́jọ́ kú àwọn máa mẹ́họ ni wọ́n ti fi hàn wá rí àwọn tí ò mọ̀ ni wọ́n mọ̀ nítorí ẹ̀dùn ohun ṣe máa ń dùn mí àwọn ẹ má bínú nítorí àwọn tó wá sẹ́kọ̀ọ́ níjẹta tí wọ́n mọ̀ bí kò ṣe rí wọ́n lanu wọ́n máa fọhùn wọ́n á máa sọ ìsọkúsọ àṣekínní kan ó dẹ̀ máa ń sọ fún pé ìjẹta lẹ dé mọ̀ bó ṣe ń lọ. You understand me, sir? So that is my opinion. I don't want to take much of your time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. That's an example that I was going to bring up later if nobody brought it up, but I'm glad he brought it up. Also, Abiola is still fresh because when the Wala happened, people fled. That was when people remember that Lagos is not their home. They all wasn't their home or it's not their home. Everybody ran back to where they came from. Which means that if
I'm sorry to cut you.
It's okay.
Tó jẹ́ pé ó ní sórí kan tó jáde lórí newspaper pé ìyá kan fi owó ẹ̀ sínú napi ọmọdé ẹ̀mọ́ pé láyé ìgbà yẹn napi lọ́nà kò ṣe pampers wípé ìgbà tó wá sáàjì tí wọ́n rówó tọ́rọ́wó yẹn nínú napi ọmọ yẹn wọ́n ju ọmọ yẹn sínú odò ni. Yes, like àwọn èèyàn wọn tún lọ dènà dè wọ́n. I'm still at that. A ṣì wà níbi táwa. Ọlọ́run á kó wa yọ. Thank you, sir.
Ami, thank you, sir. We are strangers in this land. If good comes to eat, may we have our share. But if bad comes, let it go to the owners of the land who know what gods should be appeased. That's from No Longer at Ease by Chino Achebe. 1963, published in 1962. And the question again is this fiction or is this reality? Thank you very much, Bumblebee and Mr. Fuller, for speaking. Bring up the next person. This time is Python Lee. Good evening, Python Lee. Python actually, how the Python is about computer language, not snake.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Hello, sir. Evening, sir. This is your first time coming up. I've seen you here many times. Hey, Mungboy. Thank you so much for the gift.
Yeah,
everybody.
This is my first time. This is my first time.
Yeah. Mungboy.
Okay, so this is my first time coming up, and so all I just want to do is standing on what every other person has said. Sherry, I think the last statement is quite instructive. That is, the inhabitants of the land know the gods they should appease. This is what I feel it means. These people are not ready to integrate. They are not ready to follow the culture of the land. So it means that if anything bad happens, they are not part of them. But if it is good, we must fight and get part of it. So that's just what I want to add to what everybody has said. Thank you very, very much.
Wow, sorted. Thank you very much, Python Lee. I mean, I see you here a lot, and I'm very glad you finally came up today to share your thoughts. I see you here a lot, and I'm very glad thank you so much. That was, someone says that's deep. Skoro. I hope I can look at TikTok. It's a deep thought, and I agree with you 100%. That was deep. I'm going to play you a video that I think makes that point that that buttresses the point he just made. The thing is, you have a group of people who want every single thing that what the owners of the land are enjoying, but will not seek to integrate and become part of the people. In other words, there is no plan to integrate, there's no plan to assimilate, there's no plan for any of those things, but they're going to ask, for everything. And a very good example is one I'm about to play. This person wants to become one of Lagos State. Is it? And the interviewer asked a question. I could tell you, but I think you should listen to this. I'll play you two clips. Here's the first one.
That has made you come out and to seek election?
Not really. You see, including, first and foremost, leadership is not a requirement for participation in the leadership recruitment process in any state of the federation. It's not a requirement. It may sound like a little bit of patronage when you say you have put non-indigene. Who is an indigene anyway? That's the question you ask yourself. Indigene of where? I am indigene of Nigeria.
Others haven't been doing it.
Oh yes, that's why I said it's going to have long-term national implication. We're doing something unprecedented, something new, trying to sensitize our people, Nigerians, wherever they are, wherever you live, wherever you contribute to development, wherever you pay taxes, which part of the country, any part of the country you live in.
Are you laying more emphasis on that as opposed to why?
That is just one point. The second point is that we want to add value. We want to lift up.
We want to add value to Lagos State. I've said several times, when they talk about trying to get power in Lagos, it's always about want to change the game, want to also show that we can also run the place. There's no plan for the people. It's about ambition. It's quite interesting that this one actually ran on what platform or what platform after in Lagos State. Go figure the idea of no indigene in Nigeria. Nobody can talk with that. Now, here's a test that was conducted during that interview. Take a listen to this.
My name is Robert Okoroji in Yoruba. I'm asking you to vote for me. How do you say that in Yoruba?
I could simply say, I mean, if that's a test of the use of language.
It's not a test. We just want these people to, at least, they want to vote for you.
You're asking.
Robert Okoroji. But millions of our supporters can speak English. And I also know that the language is not a barrier. It hasn't been a barrier in the past to any government, any governor that's aspired, any person that's aspired to the position of governor. So it is not a consideration. What people of Lagos, I believe, will be interested in is not my ability to speak Yoruba language, but what policies am I bringing to the table? What difference will I make? I do not pretend to be an expert in Yoruba. Truly, I can't speak Yoruba very well.
Have you been endorsed by the Igbos in Lagos State?
We're just going to stop the video at this point. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. Beautiful Wednesday evening. Hope you have been having a great day. Apologies for the late start. We had some issues with some of our devices, and I think the issue still persists because I can see a funny hue on the video. But we've been trying to deal with that for a bit. I had to get some people to fix some things, but we'll make do with what we have for this evening session. But thank you so much for being here. You've been listening to a video we have on our YouTube channel, Busui Oris. The title of that video is Chinua Achebe's Secret Message Exposing Igbo's True Agenda in Lagos. It's on Busui Oris' YouTube channel, and it's beyond a person's opinion. It's essentially a cultural worldview that somehow finds a way to seep into the works that we put out as creative people. So as creatives. So apparently, and interestingly, when the video went out, a lot of people from the south, they said there's nothing wrong with that prayer. There's nothing wrong with it. And I mean, it helps you understand exactly what the conversation is really about. It's not so much good or bad, but understanding the differences in our cultures. Once you get the difference and you know exactly how to act, rather than just assume that we're all the same, we're at the same level of civilization, level of evolution, we're all the same, we're all Nigerians, we are one. Once you understand that even though we're all Nigerians, we also have different outlooks, different worldviews, then it makes it very easy to work together. So I know who you are, how to deal with you, what I can do with you, what I should not do with you, so I don't go around crying after a while like, you did something wrong. What you consider to be wrong in your culture, in that person's culture, will just be the normal thing, right? And it's just important for us to know rather than assume sameness. We know that we are different. The video goes a bit deeper, so if you want to listen to more of it, please go on our YouTube channel, Busui Oris, and you'll find that video, Chinua Achebe's Secret Message Exposing Igbo's True Agenda in Lagos. And the premise or the thesis essentially is the prayer in the book No Longer at Ease. That was published in 1962, and the prayer that we're discussing is the premise of the conversation, which is we are strangers in the land. If good comes, may we have a share. But if bad comes, let it go to the owners of the land who know which gods to appease. So essentially, we go share what's good for your land. If something happen where we don't like, we go just push on to you. Go find a way to deal with that thing. That's a very terrible way to live from a Yoruba's perspective. And I'm Yoruba. Some people don't think it's bad. So here's the thing, such people should stay where they are or go to other places where they don't care about that kind of stupid worldview. Because it's a very stupid worldview. It's a very selfish worldview. They want to take from people but would never think of adding anything or being part of their struggles. We want to eat when everything is cool and rosy. Anyway, I speak as a Yoruba man, I speak as a Nigerian, and I hope that is okay. If it's not okay, keep breathing. You're going to grow up eventually. So thank you so much for being here. Before we get into the conversation for today, let me again apologize for being late. Plenty water don't pass under the bridge, but we're thankful we're here. Thank you very much. And also, I'd like to appreciate folks on TikTok. We started just before 6, and we are 37.7K already. That's likes on TikTok, so thank you so much for your support. All right, thank you for power tapping. Thank you for liking the live. Thanks for helping us push to the FYP. Koboko, thank you so much. Akado, good evening, sir. Bonfire Studios, I saw somebody else earlier. Yeah, thank you so much, Hakado. Thank you everybody for power tapping. Olusegun, yes, Olusegun Sekumade. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks for liking the live and thanks for power tapping. If you're on TikTok, please let's like the live and so that we can push the FYP together. Please like and share. And also click on the heart icon right above me and do that to join the team. Drop your heart me, drop a gift. Let's do this to help the live session. Someone says there's never a country in the world known as one. Ghana, Togo, Benin, Canada, UAE. No, there are countries that are one. Japan is largely homogeneous. You know, it's possible to have oneness. China is 92% Han Chinese. That's largely one. See, oneness is easier. Oneness is a lot easier when you have a predominant group. Even if you don't have, complete homogeneity, if you can have a predominant ethnicity, it's a lot easier to manage such countries. Just take your time, look through the world. I should be asking these questions. Why did Malaysia push out Singapore in 1965? What was the ethnic component of what happened? Just take some time and just study things like that. And that's why I said that some of the issues that we have in Nigeria, they're not, or in Africa generally, they're not peculiar. You know, it's what many groups have gone through in the world. It's just that they are more sincere and honest about their reality. We like to play the ostrich. We bury our heads in the sand and we hope for better days to come. And while we're burying our heads in the sand, it's as though we assume that nothing else is going on around us. It's an amazingly funny thing to do. I don't want to say something negative. But the point I was trying to make is that if you have China, where you have 92% um, Han Chinese, and you have Singapore with 75% Chinese, you can tell that even the Malays, of course, there are Malays in Singapore, there are Indians in Singapore, but both constitute about 20%, both of them. One is about 7.5, the other is about 12.5, thereabouts. And then you have others filling in the other gaps. But in Malaysia, you have more Malays and other ethnicities. It helps with governance. And that's why I think I played an interview here the other day that Lee Kuan Yew granted when he said India cannot grow like China or Singapore, and the primary reason is because of the diversity of the ethnicities. And we can deceive ourselves and be shouting, we are one, all those things. They sound good for the sake of motivational speeches. Once you leave primary school, you should have enough sense to understand that this is not how countries grow. Where you just be saying arise or come. That's like I say it all the time. I'm going to say it one more time. I love the anthem, this old anthem that we're using now. Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land, though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. It makes more sense than arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's Kolobe, to serve our fatherland with love and faith. Those who say we love and strength and faith, we are all one Nigeria going to serve the country. Let's first talk about who we are as a people. The tribe and tongue would then differ. We're not the same, but we can work together. That's reality. Most of what we hear about Nigeria is just motivational nonsense. People say things that make them feel happy for the moment, and then they get out there and see the reality of the country. What's the reality? We are strangers in the land. If good comes, may we have a share. But if bad comes, let it go to the owners of the land. The person who is praying that prayer, is he one with you? By the way, if you're just joining us, the prayer I just pray right now is in the book by Chinachebe. Excuse me. The book is titled No Longer It Is, and we talked about that book in the video we listened to earlier. Chinachebe's secret message exposing Igbo's true agenda in Lagos. It just tells you that people know that they're different. And if there's any group that doesn't understand the fact that Nigeria is different, it's Yoruba people. We love to please. Because we are hospitable, want to show that, welcome home. This is not everybody's home. And I think it probably has something to do with our myth. It may have something to do with our myth. Yesterday, I was listening to the governor of Osun. We were here together listening to the governor of Osun State, where he said that Ile-Ife is the cradle of Yoruba people. That's actually not what Yoruba people believe. Oh. This idea of Ile-Ife being the cradle of Yoruba people is a revision. The original belief in Yoruba land is that Ile-Ife is the cradle of humanity. Don't ask me if that's where Eden is. That's not the point. I'm going somewhere with. Don't bring religion into it. Just please, no matter religion, just pay attention. Yorubas believe that Ile-Ife, we believe, our fathers believe it, and it's the truth that Ile-Ife, is the belief of our fathers, and there's something to gain from that understanding. That Ile-Ife is the cradle of humanity, so that when Caucasians first got to Ife, they were told that their ancestors left from Ife, and that anytime they are coming, it's as though they are coming home. That's the keyword I'm trying to get into. That they're coming home. So it's like a place where everybody gets to come because, hey, after all, you were created here. Even if you were white, you were Asian, you were European, you're American, wherever you are, as long as you're human, this is your home. You are welcome to Ife. That mindset opens up your place to foreigners. It opens up your place to everybody. And it's a fantastic way to think because you're able to attract people from all over the place. However, what our fathers also did was while they're attracting you, they also have a structure in place in their land. You're not the ones that will come and appoint the Oni. You're not the ones that will come and tell us the kind of structure that, okay, change the Warefa. You should not have Ogboni. You should not have the judiciary or the parliament that works with the Kabisi, with the Oni. You should not have the the quarters in Ife. Let's bring something from where we are coming from. That's not the point. You are welcome home, but there's a way we structure home. That's what we are missing. What we are missing is that maybe from that mindset of being open and from being cosmopolitan because we've always had towns and cities and all of those things. We tend to say, oh, just welcome home. Everybody just come, which is good. However, we also now have to take the other bit of our father's wisdom, which is to say, this is how we do here. Bá a ṣe ń ṣe ń bí èèwọ̀ bòmíì ni is one of our sayings in Yoruba land. Bá a ṣe ń ṣe ń bí èèwọ̀ bòmíì ni. Ó lè jẹ́ èèwọ̀ níbi tó ti wá. Ṣùgbọ́n bá a ṣe ń ṣe ń bí lélẹ̀. Ó dẹ̀ lè tiẹ̀yìn ó di wá sọ fún wa pé báyìí. Àwọn máa ń pè ní ọmọ àtòkò wa balẹ̀ jẹ́. Ó lè wá sọ pé báyìí ni ká ṣe máa ṣe. Ó tiẹ̀ sí ń bí. Pàápàá tó yẹ pé ibi tó ti ń bọ̀. Kò jọ caveman kò jọ kan ló bá wọlé òun kọ́ ló máa sọ fún yín bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa tòlú, which is what Nigeria does to us as a people because we assume that ẹ̀kọ́ kan máa ó láìdíà tá a ṣe ń ṣe ń bírè. Can we evolve? Yes, but on our own terms. Because if the person that wants to tell you about evolution and change and stuff doesn't even have what you have, what on earth is it trying to give to you? And why on earth should you even consider what he's saying? Because everybody is democracy, everybody has a say. Democracy doesn't allow the best sometimes. Sometimes you have the most stupid people because they have numbers, just talk. And you have to listen because they have numbers. But that's not how life works. Life doesn't care about democracy all the time, Anyway, that's that about the video we listened to and also to respond to the person in the comment section. But I'm glad you're here, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. So, because we started a bit late, we're not going to read a lot, but we're going to just deal with the news. And since we're talking about this, I want us to. So there's this news. It's not in the title, by the way, on YouTube, but there's a news. It's been flying all over the place about Jingir. I think that's his name. The sheikh. Excuse me, the sheikh in the north, who said something provocative that got everybody, riled up across Nigeria. Mimi Joseph, God bless you. This stuff is a topic I wanted to do on Friday. Mo ń ṣẹ́nupò sọ̀rọ̀ Oku system. I want to talk about it on Friday. Or maybe tomorrow. But I do want to talk. I want to finish the Balogun tomorrow, hopefully, and then we'll do that Oku thing. It's what China uses to stem rural urban migration, where you are able to limit how people move from one part to another part of China. And they're all citizens. So it's not about, oh, they hate anybody. No, but you have to limit it, which is what I was talking the other day about rural electrification agencies, not fire agency. I really hope that, something really cool comes out of it, because what they can do is they can also help in that department. However, the government itself needs to have something like that. I was going to talk about it on Friday. So thank you for bringing it up. We will have that session, and it won't be very long. I'm just going to say a few things about it. Then I'll like to hear your response, what you think about the viability of that in Yoruba land, also in Nigeria as a whole. And you have to consider that in a place so diverse as Nigeria, where people tend to move from their funny spaces, move into, and their funny spaces. And funny is the mildest word I can use, just to be clear. There are worse things I could say, but I can go people in Abore. Move from funny places into Yoruba land, begin to demand rights. Meanwhile, the places are left dilapidated, but they are here demanding rights and speaking constitution and speaking grammar, but their homes are in tatters. Maybe they should also have a reason to stay at home and fix it. And you who are here, you're also able to manage, because you have a city that is bursting at its seams. Everybody wants to come in, which is cool. However, um, it doesn't really help, does it? Because you have, and then people then begin to have this crazy, crazy sense of entitlement, like, oh, by the way, we demand something, we expect you to give us something. Oh, guy, you didn't even expect that kind of rubbish where you come from. And you can't talk because you'll be called a tribalist, but by now, I don't care. Anyway, let us get into today's conversation, beginning with let me see. I'm trying to see the best way to get into this. Let's start with this one. Let's start with this one. Mambo, give me a second. Just 1 second, please. Okay, so today we're talking about Showore's bright ideas. Peter of his former ally asks questions, and we also look at Nigerian drinks. But one of the things that you don't have up there is the sheikh from the north, Jingir, who made some incredibly ridiculous statements. So I'm going to begin with that. Then I'll read you what one of the incoming ambassadors to Nigeria wrote. That's FFK. I'll read you his response, and then we'll go into other things. Somebody says Shore never has good ideas. Wait until you hear this one. Maybe you like it. You just might like it. Anyway, this particular one, now outside intake talk. So I go just play them small. I'll contact it thing we're in the talk. Then we'll go to what FFK said about it, and then we'll listen to what other people also say about it, so that we have a better understanding of the conversation. Take a listen to this.
Na sani cewa kafirai na jin zafin wannan kalma, amma ba akwai kiristoci ba, ba akwai yahudawa ba, ba akwai masu bautar magiro ba, ni musulmi mai wa. So it's a lot of Hausa that most of us, of course, wouldn't understand. But let me just read some of the things that he said. Nigeria is a Muslim country. And if you don't want to accept a Muslim ticket, you should leave Nigeria because it belongs to us. I urge you to, then it talks to the people, I urge you to prepare your votes. Let us show the world that the infidels are lying, that they outnumber us. The person who spoke, of course, is Sheikh Yahya Jingir. I'll read something from Zari Yusuf Madaki, who actually he was a governorship candidate, is a governorship aspirant of NDC in Kaduna State, and this is what he wrote.
Whereas it was a statement credited to him, a more dangerous fact many overlook, or many may overlook, is the presence of certain elements, and especially the body language of two northwestern state governors, Malam Umar Diko Rada of Katsina and Alao Kabir Abba Yusuf of Kano. They were so excited that in addition to shouting Allahu Akbar, they applauded the sheer extremist utterances, and Governor Kabir Abba Yusuf of Kano raised his hands up, hailing the poisonous comments. Indeed, the worst threat facing Nigeria is not a failing economy, but Islamism. Now, I've had sessions here where I try to explain the difference between Islam and Islamism, but that's not the conversation for today. Um, I mean, nobody has to tell you that this is nonsense. Okay. See, there's some things that no matter who says those things, the thing they're saying is nonsense. This is one of those things. It's just absolute rubbish. Okay. 1 second. I see a white hue. Is it just me? 1 second, please. All right, let's just work with this. Something I'm not very comfortable with the hue. Let me ask: does the screen look? Is it good for you? Like, do you like it? It looks a bit funny to me. I'm going to go back to the topic in a bit. It's a bit blurry, right? Yeah, I've done everything. I don't know what's happening. But that's one of the reasons they had to take some of the devices to go fix. Thought it was the issue. But anyway, we're going to make. Someone say it's blue. Blue bow. Looks blurry. Okay. I don't know what happened. Don't worry. We'll use it for today, right? Clean my camera. Don't worry. Thank you very much. I get. Thank you. But you can see me, Abby. As long as you can. Please let me just know. Can you see me? Don't worry about it. Can you see me? You can see me, Abby. Okay, it's good. Okay, so let's just work with what we have. It's gonna get better by. Don't worry, it's been wiped. Something else is going on. Where were we? All right. Someone say can see my filler. Touche. All right, let's get into some of these things. So I was saying that regardless of how you want to, you know, explain or say, oh, the person who said it is a sheik and is a religious leader, this stuff is nonsense. But so no good be like saying the talk. I'm gonna read some chief from FFK first. FFK, of course, is Chief Femi Fani-Kayode. It says, I have immense respect for Sheikh Jingir, but I'm constrained to point out that the extremist rhetoric he has in. By the way, let me just start by saying this: Nigeria is not an Islamic country. It is not. It was never an Islamic country. It is not an Islamic country. It will never be an Islamic country. Okay, because it may not be like say because we are supporting Tinubu, it means that anybody can just say anything they like, and all of us, say anything because you want to prove. Nobody paid me anything. I'm not beholding to anyone. So I could tell you fact. Nobody. Nigeria is not an Islamic country. It will never be one. It's a secular state. What that means basically is that every single person, regardless of their religion, excuse me, there's something off. Every single person, regardless of their religion, gets to practice whatever faith they want to practice, and that will be okay, right? Your religion doesn't matter. We're not defined by our religion, okay? This is not a theocracy; it's a democracy. That's the first thing. So, I know some people. I will get to the Christians saying, "Oh, see what Muslim ticket as source." Muslim ticket does not mean that you have a secular, a Muslim state. For many years, there are many I don't want to go into other countries. So I will not be doing. By the time you have a Christian president, Nigeria has become a Christian country, and then you have the other side just talking about how terrible Christians are. And so whenever people become Canadian, they say, you are now a Muslim country. It is not a religious nation. We don't practice theocracy. It will always be secular. If you're waiting for Nigeria to become whatever religion you come from, wàá pẹ́ lójú omi, ẹni tó bá wò ṣẹ́jú akọni, wàá pẹ́ létí omi. It will not happen. Okay, just make that very clear. But I still support Tinubu, just to be clear. But let me read you something from FFK. It says, I have immense respect for Sheikh Jingir, but I am constrained to point out that the extremist rhetoric he has indulged in here is most unhelpful, and neither is it true. Worst of all is the fact that it is highly provocative. Kindly note that it is a very slippery and dangerous slope to take and is best avoided. Nigeria is not, capital N-O-T, Nigeria is not a Muslim country, and neither is she a Christian country. She is a secular and multi-religious state comprising of both Christians and Muslims in equal numbers, and that is our strength. We are supporting a Muslim ticket for 2027 as we did in 2023, only because of the caliber, ability, sincerity of purpose, character, utility, and electoral strength of our presidential and vice presidential candidates, and their ability to deliver, and not because they are Muslims. One day we may have a Christian ticket too, because with God all things are possible. Let us leave religion out of politics and consider issues, policies, and personalities instead. The Christian community has fared very well in Nigeria in the last 3 years under this government, and far better than they did between 2015 and 2023, even though at that time we had a Muslim Christian ticket. We must not allow this issue to divide our ranks. We are Nigerians before being Christian or Muslim, and we must not only stand as one, but also go to the polls as one. We overcame religious intolerance in 2023 and won the presidential election, and by God's grace, we will do the same again in 2027. And I clap for FFK. He said just about everything I wanted to say. But I should also add this, that the idea that the North has chosen, or at least the core North, like they like to say, has chosen that their own identity will be based on religion, does not mean that the entire country has to follow suit. As a matter of fact, they have to find a way to grow out of that primitive mindset. And I'll tell you why. Because even the people that own that religion, they don't look at themselves first as Muslims. I was having a conversation the other day, and somebody said, they are Muslim first. And every Muslim is their brother. There's some nonsense that we say with boldness. We just don't know, because nobody has told us. If you go to Saudi Arabia, they will not make you one of them just because you're Muslim. They have very strict, what's the word now? Immigration rules, right? The same goes for UAE. The same goes for Bahrain, for Kuwait, and all those countries, right? They don't just say, oh, because we all practice one religion. Therefore, if they understand that even with the predominance of a single religion in their space, they're able to understand that at the core of identity is people's ethnicity, not religion. If they, who have that religion as a predominant religion in their spaces, know that at the core of their identity is ethnicity, how come it is people in Nigeria who carry this thing on their head as if they are the ones that gave birth to the prophets? While they are doing that, let's just say it very clearly. Me, I support President Tinubu 100%. And yes, it's a Muslim ticket. Tomorrow, we supported Buhari and Oshibajo was Muslim Christian. I voted Goodluck Jonathan was Christian Muslim ticket himself, and Namadi Sambo. Tomorrow, we might have a Christian ticket. We will still vote for them if they make sense. All right. But there's a word he used. Let's show these infidels. Those words, of course, they begin to tell you how religious leaders have so much hold on the people of the North. And the government needs to address things like this. The government needs to address things like this because it's important that, particularly in the north, where any small thing that is religion is a spark that consumes things if they want to consume stuff. And for those of us in Yoruba land as well, particularly those of us in Yoruba land, particularly those who are beginning to tend towards extremist ideas in Islam, you've got to stop. There's nothing sensible that you're going to get out of it. And it's important that we also talk about it as Yoruba people. Yoruba land will never be like the North. We are not a religious society in terms of as the system of government or our identity as a people. Like FFK said, we are secular, we are multi-religious. There are Christians here, there are Muslims here, there are nothing. Please forget about the blood thing. It's the device. I'm sorry I brought it up. It's not the cloth, it's the device. I know what's going on. Don't worry about it. It was something that we tried to fix and it just didn't work. So we're gonna have to change the devices next time. I could even change it now, but it's gonna affect what I'm doing. But thank you for bringing that up. But don't worry about it. It's a long story. I'll explain later. Where was I? Yoruba land. Here we have Christians, we have Muslims, we have traditional worshippers, we have Buddhists, there are Kankers in Yoruba land. I've seen them. There are people that go to grill, the grill message. There are many. Of course, we know the predominant religions are Christianity and Islam, but there are other people, and just keep it secular, and everybody will be fine. Having said that, and I want to play you some of the responses from Christians, of course, who are very, very angry with that statement by the Sheikh. We're going to begin with this one from Primate Ayodele, and then I'm going to go to others. Okay, so let's begin with Primate Ayodele's response to Sheikh Jingir. Please take a listen to this.
I want to reply a very brainless, senseless, nonsensical religious leader. I don't want to cause issues because if government did not caution this, then Christianity is in problems. Though there are no leaders in Christian, only few people are leaders. One shameless, a fool, old man. I won't call him sheikh. He's not going to be a sheikh. Maybe Yaya Jengiri or Jengiri in Kano, who says that Christian and infidelity or something like that. Infidel. I am surprised that this person is still in existence. You're supposed to have jailed this man, jailed him. He is a Christian that said that, hey, this or that. This is the issue of Muslim ticket. Nigeria is not mature for all these Muslim tickets. Right? That you know what they call by infidel, you know the meaning. It's an insult to all Christendom. And these are the people that wanted to even cause Nigeria to be Islamized. And while you are keeping this person, governor is there, praising. That governor must not be voted for. Must not be voted for. And in a situation like this, want to divide Nigeria into two. Christian states, a country, and Muslim country. But the government does not even see it coming. That this can cause issue. If it's Christian, now DSS would have run after them. Where's DSS now? The so-called DSS. Where are they? Why can't they arrest this man? There's a lot of injustice in this country. Without your teeth, hold the man for nothing.
All right, let's leave the insult. But there's something he said that I think we also have to be very careful of, particularly as Christians. The idea that if he's Christian, they would have rushed him. It's also emotionally ridiculous. It's an emotionally ridiculous statement. Because let's be fair. This idea that because they are Muslims, because that's what they're saying things. Christians have also said things like this before. You don't think I'm right? Let me play you some of the clips. Because we have to be telling ourselves the truth. See, you can look at a person saying something wrong and focus on what they have said and condemn what they have said and pass your message, make your point. Once you get into that comparison mindset and begin to say things like, "Oh, if you were Christians, they're not going to say anything about it," what you have done now is that you have watered down the message using comparison. And it's a lie that Christians making that statement would have been caught, because many Christians have made statements like this and nobody caught them. Now, and this doesn't mean that the Muslim guy is right. He's still wrong. But I'm going to play you something from fellow Christians as well. I'm a Christian, by the way. We have to be very careful how we heat up the polity. Take a listen to a few clips, starting with the one by this gentleman in the north, who, of course, to be fair, there is context to everything. To be, the Jingir man, Sheikh Jingir, said, if not for the Muslim ticket, Christians in Nigeria will think they are more than us. This is why we must make sure the Muslim ticket continues to succeed so that our dominance remains sustained. This is nonsense. Okay. But it's also nonsense to say that, oh, to have a Christian, they would have picked him. Meanwhile, that statement that the primate made, saying that if we were a Christian minister, he would have been arrested by DSS. Hosseini also said something very similar. Rufai said something similar yesterday. He said if a Christian cleric had said what Jingir said. This one, I don't know if he's a journalist or a rabble rouser. I'll play you something from some believers. This is Pastor Ezekiel. Take a listen to what he said a while back.
Muslim ticket. We should be careful. We should be very careful. 2027. That is when the whole Christian has spoken. I've spoken in Abuja the day before yesterday with all traditional rulers of the northern state. The Christian in which our traditional ruler, we boycotted from Sultan because the top thief is the leader of our Christian traditional rulers in the north. So we know what is happening. We should pray for that. But when it comes to state, God will show us what to do. But in the federal, we are going to display that we are the majority in census in Nigeria. So this is what is going to happen. Do you know why this killing is taking place? Because they have endorsed Muslim Christian to rule over Nigeria by all crooks. And we are supporting it. God will punish us if we force it. God will punish us. I'm telling you, we are going to see her. You want the super buy Muslim ticket. Mark my word. Bana magana fanya banza. That's why you protest for kekeshe so adiraji. Kumanza zo faru. Ewa ya bulo. Ansa da kana tare the Muslim ticket. Baka kwana gidaba. Because abenda ajejira tunda antabatar. Tozamu chikaniamu. Yo batinibo chetima ze how. In chetima ya how. Banada ya ema Christian ametuburi. Chikwaza. To banang bamugaba sifa watu kuna. Kabiri sokoto ansawa dilansa.
I'm a Christian. I think that's extreme. But I understand that people had been killed in the north, so these things probably riled him up. But I've heard several clips from Pastor Ezekiel Dachomo where you just know that this is more emotion than anything else. And like I always say, I empathize with Christians in the north, and I understand their issue, because if you are experiencing the kind of things they're experiencing, you probably have a different view. But see, you cannot excuse one and say, "Oh, I understand the other person." Which DSS? I mean, when did DSS arrest Pastor Ezekiel? So when you say things like, "Oh, this sheikh got away with it because he's a Muslim," but Christians don't get away with it, it's not true. I'll play you another one.
Never bow down to Allah. Allah is a demon. That is why when Allah wants to suck blood, never bow.
No, I have to pause. Allah wants to suck blood, I mean, there are
people who are doing religious conversations on social media and things. You call some people infidel, you say some people's religion is this. I have my personal opinion about different religions based, and interestingly, my opinions are based on study. So you study something and you have an academic outlook, right? You're not just talking based on emotions. But even then, some things you just not say out there because who how do you communicate certain things with people without having to break things down? By just saying, oh, these people are bloody, they don't want to say they are infidels, they're too gay for. And it's not just in the north, it's also happening in the south, particularly in the southeast. Take a listen to this one.
Igbos are Igbos. Anywhere we are for dominion. We are for dominion. That's the reason why the northerners, they don't want us to go. Because if Igbos leave Nigeria today, Nigeria will be like Ivory Coast. Nigeria will be like Somalia. Nigeria will be like a dry vegetable. Because we are the cream of Nigeria. We are the cream of Nigeria. We are the cream of Nigeria. If you go to Abuja, any beautiful house in Abuja is owned by the Igbos. Any estate in Abuja, beautiful, is owned by the Igbos. If you go to Kaduna, Kano, Bauchi, Gombe, beautiful things here are owned by Igbos. So if we leave Nigeria, Nigeria will not work. Let's insult them now. Nigeria will not work. If we leave Nigeria, Nigeria will not work. If they doubt me, let's try it. Help! 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 Any Mohammed or any Ahmed that will doubt me, let's try it. Let's try it for 3 months. After 3 months, we can come back again. But let's try it. Without Igbos, Nigeria will not work. In fact, without Igbos, there is no Nigeria. But without the North, Nigeria can survive. We can survive. Hear me now and everywhere. Without them, we will have no problem.
àwọn eléyìí orí wọn ò pé. Sincerely, I don't use such words, but and this is not an insult. It's a statement of fact. Orí ẹni yóò pé. There's a mental problem going on, but we all know that already, right? So we don't have to discuss it deep like that. Any Mohammed, any Ahmed, any nothing as. These are the kind of things that people do, and then they think they have a right to say it, and then you hear your fellow clown, your fellow extremist on the other side of the divide, I'll be on the other side of your spectrum, then telling you his own version of your ridiculousness, and then suddenly you're angry and you're shouting, if he were a Christian, they will not do that to him. Wait till they do to this one. And let's make something very clear. The group that, if they leave Nigeria, nothing will happen to Nigeria, primarily, is Igbos. And I'm not even saying this to insult anybody. We're just stating facts. Without Nigeria, without Igbo, Nigeria will not survive. That thing is just coping mechanism. Or it's not true. It has happened before, by the way. And I've had a conversation about it before. 1967, the war started. Between 67 and 1970, that's the period in Nigeria's history, before then and until today, that Nigeria ever had the highest growth in GDP during the war. The highest. Look, I'll give you a website. Check it out. Look for Nigeria's GDP. Go to macrotrends.net. You can look for any country. So it's for all. It's not. I'm not the one that made it there. So there are different countries, the GDP growth, and and indices and stuff like that. So you can go there, look for that particular the website macrotrends.net. All right. Maybe I'll even put it on Telegram channel. When you get there, look for Nigeria's GDP. The one I'm going to put on the Telegram channel will be the exact source. So when you click on it, you see the growth rate. Go back to independence and look up until 66. Then you notice something happened in 67. One went to minus 1.5%, right? Because we were minus 15. It was at 66. 67 went to a minus 1.5. By 70, we're going to 24, about 24%. By 68, we're going to 14. By 69, we're going to about 24. By 70 was 25% growth. Please check it out. Look for macrotrends.net. I'm not, give me a second. Let me read it to you. Since this clown has said it, because Oroti one year, there are times when you just have to talk, but this one's all of them will now be repeating the same nonsense. Let me look for it so I can put it in Telegram channel. If you want to read it, you get to see it yourself. So I will not be saying go and verify. Number one. Just give me a second. I'm going to find it for you, and we are almost there. Okay. Nigeria GDP 1960 to 2025. For me, it's not the amount. Of course, the amount has increased over time. It's the percentages, right? The growth rate. That's what we're concerned about. All right. I'm here now. Good. You know what? I'm going to copy this link and put it on Telegram channel. So if you want, you could also. I'm going to put it on Telegram channel, okay? Please go to Redomi Global on Telegram. Redomi is spelled REDOMI Global on Telegram. Go to the learning material. No, we can even put it on the general group. Should we? I get a bit mixed up there. Go to the learning materials, books and resources. You see macrotrends.net, global metrics, and so on and so forth. Nigeria GDP 1960 to 1975. If you go there now, you find it there. So it's a lot easier for you to access that way. The things we do for love. I love you. I love you. Let me look at the growth rate I was talking to you about. You see the economy, trade, GDP per capita, GDP growth rate, debt to GDP, and so on and so forth. So that will help you. I think it's going to help a lot. So the point I'm looking for is the GDP growth rate. All right. 1966. Oh, I made a mistake. Yeah, I was right. 1966 were minus 4.25. 1967, when the war started, was minus 15. I mentioned minus 15 earlier, right? Minus 15.74%. That was our GDP at the time. By 1968, we had gone to minus 1.25%. 1969, 24.2%. 1970, 25.01%. That's the growth rate. We've not been able to actually get that level since 1970. By 71, we dipped to 14.24%. 66 was minus 4.25. Then we got into the war, we went to minus 15.25. Then 68 went to minus 1.25. 69, we just went from minus 1.25 to 24.2. From negative to positive 24.2, then to 25.01%. Igbos were not in Nigeria. They were in Biafra. Well, so-called Biafra. The idea that if Igbo goes, Nigeria will distribute is a lie. There's a document that I've read it here before. When they compared the stores collection between 67 and 68 month, the September 67 compared to September 68, the difference in terms of income or revenue for market stores in Lagos was £100. In other words, when we look at what we got last year and what we got this year, the difference they noticed was £100 difference. In other words, and that difference was, you only found the difference in areas where Igbos were concentrated. If you leave Nigeria, will feel nothing. And Nigerians should say that to Igbo more often. Why? Because people cannot be telling you nonsense. It's called psy-op. It's a psychological operation. They're trying to get at your brain by talking rubbish. Test it first, 3 months. No, we already tested it. And I'll put the link in the comment section so nobody will say I'm making it up. Look for GDP growth rate. You see the tabs: population, GDP, GDP per capita, GDP growth rate, debt to GDP, inflation rate, and so on and so forth. Go to GDP growth rate and then look through the numbers. We've never been able to attain that kind of growth rate since 1971. Let's have a bunch of clowns. This one is holding the microphone in church, wearing cassock, talking nonsense. but he's also a Christian. And DSS did not carry him. So me, I don't like victim, those victims weak. I hate weakness in people's speech. You see what they did to me because I'm a Christian, that's why they did not do anything. Unless of course it's real, but not the one that you're just forcing. It's as if you're trying to get people to pity you. Someone says, I'm sure SAGDP also rose since they forced people. The point is, people have left Nigeria before and they were away for 30 months. And Nigeria did not just fine, we did exceptionally well. As soon as they returned, we went down. What happened? Importation of nonsense. Importation of rubbish. And I'm not saying they're the only ones responsible for the crash. We also have terrible economic policies that, over time destroyed our chances. We had what happened with SAP, with SAP. We had all kind of crazy things that affected textile industry, affected, industries generally, right? We had Abacha, we have everybody. But Abacha came in the 90s. That was 95. What was this? Thank you. That was interesting. 93. Abacha came in 93, removing Shonekon. Thanks for that gift. That's quite interesting. I've never seen something like that before. Thanks, Sidan. Anyway, the point is, it's good for all of us to be together. But a region that contributes 8% to the GDP cannot be threatening others with living. Where did I get that source from? From Governor Soludo, who was a former CBN governor. He's an economist. He knows exactly what he's talking about. The Southeast contributes 8% to Nigeria's GDP. 8. You can't be contributing 8% and be constituting nuisance all over the place. Oh, maybe they just let us go first. Anyway, the bit about religion, you shall hear that he also said that Eddie Mohammed, he's talking about Muslims and Northerners. Nobody caught him and said, oh, yeah, DSS also arrest you. So let's stop all this weak nonsense. What the Sheikh said is rubbish. It is wrong. And I'll play you something very quickly. That's the northern extremist. Let me play the eastern extremist.
Without Igbos, Nigeria will not work. In fact, without Igbos, there is no Nigeria. But without the North, Nigeria can survive. We can survive. Yeah.
What exactly does Igbo region contribute to Nigeria today? There's nobody God cannot use. You see the North that people usually pile on. You say all kinds of things about the North, and it's okay. You will go hungry, eh? You don't have full security. See, I do software, I do tech, I do English, I do skinicon. You will eat though. Which is why I'm very glad with what the governors of the Southwest are doing right now. There's no reason, absolutely none, for your land not to be self-sufficient. You don't even have to go all over the place. Just go. The yams in Ekiti, you have Okiogun in your state. You can get anything you want in those places, and of course, we have more than that. But whether you like them or not, much of what you eat comes from the north. Whether it's the beans or the millet or the sorghum, most of these things come from the north. Even your yams. And I'm not saying we're not producing any here, but I don't think we're doing enough. But I'm glad that the governors are, talking about. I saw a report with the commissioners of agriculture of the 6 southwest states having meetings about what they're going to do to make things better, and that's lovely. And I really look forward to it working. But we've got to be self-sufficient as far as food is concerned, as Southwest. But you see, while you're working on that, you cannot just wish away what the North brings to the table. Your pepper, your tomatoes. We have tomato in the Southwest. It's a different species, of course, and it tastes differently. Interestingly, you have the research institutes for just about everything in the Southwest. Ibadan alone has more research institutes than many states in this country. Let me just go through it for you. In Ibadan, you have IITA, you have CRIN, that's Cocoa Research Institute. You have Cereal Research Institute, right? You have NIOT. You have FRIN, Forestry Research. You have NIOT is about horticulture. You have they have something on rice. I think it's part of the cereal. You have all kinds of um, research and training institutes as far as food is concerned. Much of what you plant all across Nigeria is from IIT. IAR&T, thank you, Perism. There's IAR&T, more plantation, Nakwata. You have all these things. So we've got to actually take advantage of all these research institutes and actually, attain self-sufficiency. But even when we do, which we will by God's grace, we still have you cannot still downplay what did not contribute, no matter what you even have. Patapata, you collect, you also sell to them, which is beautiful, and I like that. And a very good example, of course, is what you see with the tannery. The tannery that serves much of what you call Italian leather is actually from Kano. I'm not outside, I'm not. It's not like I'm hyping the Northerners. It's the truth. The leather, when you see Italian leather, much of what we call Italian leather is actually from Kano. That's why they had a court case. And after that court case, there's a court case about the name they should be calling this leather. They now say, okay, they're not going to call it Italian leather again. You know what they now call it? They call it genuine leather. It's still from Kano. The tanneries, they're in Kano. What do people in some places bring to the table again? The beautiful thing I was trying to say is that when you get the leather in Kano, we add stuff in Lagos, and then we have this warehouse. Sorry, not just warehouses. There's a leather market that the governor, opened last year, commissioned last year, where the leather from Kano are then, processed, and I mean they're processed before they bring them there. Then they now showcase and people get to buy those things. That's kind of thing I like. You can't have everything. You have comparative advantage, right? But at least you must have something you're bringing to the table. For centuries, the kola nut the Hausas eat for centuries come from Yoruba land. Even as a young person, anytime I traveled to Ife, you see long glories in Sabo. Obi no kolo okyoyao. I mentioned Nayot. Thank you, Bronco. Obi no kolo si okyoya. That's something. And that's even something that you can actually build an entire industry on if you're really serious. And I hope our governors get serious about these things. I also can give you alubosa, abi. They give you pepper, tomatoes, all those things. And I'm just going on the surface level. You can go deeper. The point I'm trying to make is this. A region that contributes 8% to the GDP should not be telling the people that feed them that if they cut them off, nothing happens to Nigeria. Let me tell you the truth. This country, if you divide this country, some people will suffer for another 50 years. 50 by 100 years, they're still at it. I won't mention any group. Ọlọ́run ọba ló ní déédé. Ẹ̀dá kan gbìyànjú ni kò sẹ́ni tó mọ̀ tán. Only God will do am. But the truth of the matter is you also have to acknowledge people's ingenuity. Because you see, if you cannot say this is, I'm Yoruba, if I cannot identify what is good about others, and I just want to talk down on everything, and to be honest, it's going to take a lot of work to actually find something good in the Southeast, because they're the ones who talk about everybody being bad. So you have to really try, and I try, and I'm trying even right now. Sincerely, I've been speaking on this matter for about 5 minutes. I've been looking for something to say about the Southeast in my head as I'm talking. As far as agriculture is concerned, nothing. I know they have ugu, but the point is that ugu, you will not need it in other parts of Nigeria because the land is fertile everywhere else. So I'm really thinking, okay, there's coal in Enugu. That's something. Although it's not being used now, so I hope they find a way to also utilize it. But I'm really thinking, it doesn't have to be coal, I mean, there's ABBA-made products they're trying to do. I like to look for something in other places. So it doesn't, you also want to appreciate what God has. There's nobody God has not blessed. That's just the point. They have about made goods right now that I'm hoping will scale. Because now like so then start China made products that were not so good at the time in the 80s and 90s. So hopefully Abba can also catch up. Someone says they say they have gas. One day we should discuss that gas thing. That gas is not what the potential is, even from what has been explored or what is even known. Some of the numbers that people give are projected estimates, not like they found this thing. But you know what? If they say they have gas, it's okay. But let's even say they have gas. No matter what my Torenchi, and I don't want to even bust anybody's bubbles. So let's say they do have that. What you have doesn't take you from what other people have. So why do people feel the need to always say the not? Meanwhile, you don't have anything. You don't contribute nothing. Let me tell you something. Today, oil and gas industry, the primary export of Nigeria, at least one of the major exports, is oil. Of course, we are diversifying, by the way. We're diversifying. There's a lot going on in other sectors. But oil is a major foreign exchange earner, right? The Southeast contributes less than 2% to that. Less than 2%. Then you tell other people they are parasites. Anyway, I just think that these people is madness. Because if you don't have something, I always calling other people, but you are the beggar, but you're calling everybody beggar. Doesn't make sense. Anyway, just to tell you that crazy things are happening in this country, and while we don't, of course, approve of what the Sheikh said in the north, we should also be careful not to be saying things like if Christians say something like that. I want to play you something else. Like says many of the funny. I mean, I'm not mentioning. Anyway, just listen to this. Sorry, I stop myself sometimes because I don't want to say some things, which is well. But take a listen to this one. We will hear you. Number 1 second. I'm going to play it from here. You should hear it from here. Number. By the way, I just remember right now. Is it not the same? Some of us who were saying past is a religious war. The Northerners say that in a lot. Thank you so much, Ayan Fed Mary. The Northerners say that in a lot about religion, politics, religion. This last election, we also heard it from the South, though. You forgot? Take a listen to this.
Good morning, Daddy. Praise the Lord. How are you, sir? Fine, Daddy. Good morning, Daddy. Amen. In Jesus' name, we are going to get a bright result. Thank you, Daddy. When I hear this is your call and prayers, Daddy is very dear to me. And like I keep saying, in this world, you people will never regret the support. Amen. Amen. We look forward to God's intervention. Thank you, Daddy. We look forward to God's intervention. Thank you, Daddy. We look forward to God's intervention. Amen, Daddy. Daddy, I need you to speak to the people in the Southwest, the people in the Southwest, and Wara. Okay. I'll bet you speak for other people. The Christians in the Southwest and Wara. It is a religious war. I believe that.
This is a religious war. This is a religious war. I don't support anybody who is talking this nonsense, whether they are Muslims or Christians or even traditional worshippers. And let me also say something. I put something out. See, let me quickly say this. I need to say this. If you're a traditional religious worshipper, don't get into the mix by comparing religions. So you will not like what you're going to hear. Let me also quickly say it. Somebody went to comment on one of my videos on YouTube and said it's Christians and Muslims who are causing all these things. You never see a traditional religious leader do this. Just keep your mouth shut, though. They've not opened your own case. Just leave it alone. Just let the people who are talking amongst themselves be talking. Muslims said something wrong. We're trying to correct the Muslims. Christians now said, "Oh, if the Christians had said what this Muslim said is wrong, period. That's all." They now said, "Oh, See what those Muslims said though. If you were Christians, they would have done something. You to come and hear what you also said. If you're a traditional or whatever you're doing, just leave them, both of them, be talking their thing until they sort themselves out. Don't go and put yourself in the mix and say that it's just Christians and Muslims that are causing this thing. It's not true. There are priests, traditional religious kidney, that are collecting stupid money from politicians, telling them funny things, predicting rubbish, giving them charms. Because I see sometimes people say, "Oh, once people," I don't know what's also wrong with people. It's the same thing that the pastor also did. A Muslim has done something wrong, talk about it and leave it alone. Don't say, oh, because they are Muslim, or if they were Christian, kilo kontembe. Just don't, you don't have to insert Christianity into the conversation. Now that they inserted Christianity, now we are hearing, hello, daddy, talk to the Christian. It's a religious war. So we have to also mention that one. If you're a traditional worshiper and you want to bring yourself in the midst and say, see all the Christian and Muslims are the ones that are doing it, oh my shit, we're on you know. And it is politics, all is fair. When they start discussing your own, you will cry. You just be angry for nothing. I'm just saying it. I want them on YouTube. Somebody say, "Yeah, tell us one." You know me. I don't like challenges like that, because if I go and talk now, there's no reason to do it yet. Shall let's all be guided, as they always say. Let's be guided. Let's not be doing. We are the one. You see, one thing about politics that people have to be very careful of. Don't assume moral superiority. Don't. Even if you are morally superior, don't assume moral superiority. People will ascribe it to you. Don't try to don't put yourself on a pedestal and say, compared to these ones, we are better than them. That is when they will drag you. Because in reality, and the funny thing about King Mark Peton is that, when I speak something, I say that, I say when they were having a conversation about culture and evolution and stuff, and I said something about something that Yoruba people have had to go through, and a Yoruba guy said, "We never went through that. We never went through that." I was like, "Do you think we really dropped from heaven? Do you think we did not have to evolve? Do you think we've always been like this? You think we just appeared on the scene and we're all, advanced? Of course, we've gone through some terrible things in the past. What will make anybody feel ashamed of that? I don't understand. Which culture hasn't? I mean, tell me a culture that hasn't gone through anything like that. I mean, some funny things which I won't mention right now. All I'm saying is that once you pull that out, what you're saying is that, listen, I've been where you are, but this is how I got here. It is better than saying, listen, you are here, I am here, we are not mates, and I was never like you. Well, in some instances, you were never like some people, but you get the point I'm trying to make. Okay. So I've said that one that I needed to say. There's another video I was going to play with one minister going all over the place saying that he was going to beat his church members who voted anyone else but Peter Obi. People did not come and say the pastor was having an opolo. I don't know how a pastor would say they want to beat church members for not voting for Peter Obi. But I think we also have to be very careful. And like I always say, these conversations are not really religious in nature. Really think about it. It's things that have to do with understanding a society and knowing exactly how we grow as a people, so we don't reduce it to religion. But if you want religious religion, let me just say I don't want to get involved yet. But it's not because there's nothing to say. All right, so my fellow Christians, I love you with the love of the Lord, and let's be careful not to do this comparison. If you want to comment on what somebody has done that's wrong, just say it. And the sheikh did not say it. Yes, he said Muslim ticket, but believe it or not, they talk like this in the north. The Muslims in the north, especially all those religious leaders, they use religion as their primary tool for galvanizing support. You know that. If you act like you've never heard that before in Nigeria, then that would be surprising. No, we all know these things now. That's how they move, and it's a very terrible thing to do. What some people are now doing in the South, particularly Christians, is to also now find a way to copy that and apply it in Christianity, and that's ridiculous. It's not going to work. So we are all blessed as Christians, but let's not be comparing and using the opportunity to play victimhood. See, if it's us, they would have caught. I'm trying to see if I can find you that video, but I can't find it. I would have loved to play it. That pastor is actually not serious. 1 second, please. Let me see if I can find it for you. If I don't, then we'll move on to other things. Èmi ò kéré o, èmi ò kéré. Mbo. Sọ fún ma wo bẹ́ẹ̀. We listened to Ashake earlier, by the way, so it's still stuck in my brain. I kind of like it. It's a good man. Okay. Okay, the other video. Let's not change topic. Let's just leave it for now. We'll talk about it. I want to discuss religion and politics. I saw you, Mr. Remy. You say atheists don't have anything to do with it. To do with what? Please expatiate. Expatiate. Please try to explain what you are saying, Mr. Remy, in the comment section. You think when they are sharing money in Abuja, they ask them which faith they belong to? Oh boy. Thieves in this country are of all shades and colors. They are of all religions and non-religion. They don't care. That's why I laugh sometimes when I see Christians fighting. I'm sorry, when I see Nigerians fighting over religion and politics. I'm like, I don't join on sorry religion. Oh, sorry, it's going to be low, what is Igba Ibo Didi. Okay. Let us move on this topic. We've spent enough time on this religion. Let's just move on to other things. So, 1 second. Our title again: Showore's Bright Ideas, Peter Obi's former ally, and asks questions. And we're talking about Nigeria and drinks and poverty. So, I want to look at the nexus: Nigeria, drinks, poverty. We have to draw a Venn diagram. Nigeria, drinks, poverty. In the middle, there's something there. We're going to discuss it. Mr. Emir, we saw it yesterday now. Prof wrote, I said Davido wrote Trump. Oh, we talked about it yesterday. That one is just a child. Asking Trump to come and help your local election. Wonderful guy. All right, let's move to another topic. Showore's bright ideas. Sowore was on Arise News yesterday. And what a bright idea he had to share. And you may find this really grand, especially if you have not thought in this direction before, because Sowore is a cerebral, presidential candidate of the AAC. Was on Arise News, like I said. Was asked questions about what to do to make Nigeria better as the president of this country. And Sowore had an interesting thing to say. You're not going to believe this because it's so deep. Take a listen, please. Please take a listen to this.
Are you planning to bring back subsidy? Are you planning to pay? Okay, you would bring back subsidy. Yes. Because we're saying that if we were still paying subsidy, we'd be deeper in...
In the first place, they are still paying subsidy. They just change the name of what they call it. They are subsidizing not only petrol, because they don't have enough, and they can't produce locally. They're also subsidizing the Naira. That's one thing they will never tell you. The reason the Naira is at a certain, rate to the dollar is because it's been quietly and secretly subsidized. Otherwise,
all countries defend their currency.
Yes, but why are you lying about subsidy then? We have to stop telling lies about. See, what everybody has agreed happened to subsidy is not that subsidy is bad, because there's no country in the world that don't subsidize their poor. In fact, the people that get the most subsidy in Nigeria is not the poor, it's the rich. All the people who bring in, foreign goods and services, go and look at their waivers at customs. You will know who's getting real subsidy compared to the people who are getting 10 naira from each gallon of petrol that was taken away from them. And you saw what happened. Immediately you remove subsidy. Look at where the economy tanked. Your Naira also went down the toilet. So there's no need for us to sit down here and ask, what would you do differently? Of course, what we have to do differently, first and foremost, is to get rid of this old mentality and the ideas that brought poverty to become a standard a household name in Nigeria. And now they have upgraded it to what they call multidimensional poverty. The Food and Agriculture Organization regards Nigeria as one of the places where you need food.
I mean, I think it's difficult listening to that, but you see how bright that idea is. So I called it Showore's bright ideas. I mean, Showore was one who told us the other day was going to be planting and exporting marijuana. It's a song by Ashake. He mentioned something about that thing. Showa. Showa. Anyway, he came up with an idea to produce and market marijuana. That was way back. So recently it has evolved. And now, I mean, the other day he said he was going to appoint AI as Minister of Finance in Nigeria. And then he will appoint a drone as Minister of Defense. You see these bright ideas. Yomi says, I supported Sowore about his idea on medicinal cannabis. Okay. I'll tell you, while I think, let me just say this, while I think there's, something good about the idea of medicinal cannabis and so on and so forth, like you're saying in the comment section, using that as a major thing you're going to do as a government is just ridiculous. Number one, you've not even found a way to ensure that what you have right now, it's regulated. You have young people just smoking colos all over the place and smoking weed. What do you do to ensure that you actually take care of those people and what you're planting? I mean, it's a totally different conversation. We'll talk about it some other time. Anyway, the point I'm saying, someone says, how do you regulate it in Nigeria? Sowore has an idea. So, but that was back then. So let's even say, I mean, so recently, his new ideas have been that he will appoint AI as Minister of Finance. He will appoint a drone as Minister of Defense. And today he's telling you that it's going to reintroduce subsidy. I mean, nobody has to tell you that this person is just, clowning when it comes to governance. I like what he does as an activist because every government, every country needs people like this who can fight on behalf of, the poor and the downtrodden society. It's important to have someone who can speak up for the downtrodden. But such people should not lead because they don't have an idea what they're talking about. Sometimes it's okay if you are fighting for the poor and you're just talking nonsense. You're just coming up with data that does not data with no substance. It's okay. At least the leaders will find a way to appease the people and take care of whatever it is you are saying using wisdom. When you become the leader with terrible ideas, the country is doomed. You say better want to have revolution now. Revolution. All these bright ideas, bright in quote, that's not how to build countries. Though. Meanwhile, while Sowore is doing that, Sowore is in AAC. Sowore, his party is AAC, right? Apparently, in Abia State, AAC has a fantastic candidate that will be running as well. And that one told us what will happen if Sowore becomes the president of Nigeria. Please take a listen to this. By the way, just in case you don't know, her name is Doris Okala. In case you have heard that name before, that name sounds familiar. It's the same person that had that issue with Chris Okafor, the pastor who you don't get the gist. All right, take a look. I don't want to tell you the gist. If you don't know, please go and find out about it. Let's not use this platform for that purpose. But the point is that Doris Okala is the governorship candidate for Abia State. I think there's no bar in Nigerian politics or law. We should go around social media. But she says something about Sowore becoming president. Take a listen to this.
100% because he's like, yes, I support what Nnamdi Kanu is doing 100% because he's like a messiah, he's like a prophet that we didn't see coming. Everything he has prophesied has come to pass. Everything he said is what is happening today. And let me tell you something, if I am the governor today, the first thing I will seek for is Nnamdi Kanu's pardon. And I know that if my president, Omoyele Sowore, who has shown his public support for Nnamdi Kanu, becomes the president, he will release the Nnamdi Kanu that same day. Because we do not, my party, AAC, do not support what is being done to Nnamdi Kanu. We are fully behind Nnamdi Kanu. I support him. Not only he is a leader of IPOB, he is my brother. And I support him 100%. And I am telling the president, Well, their president now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to, with immediate effect, revisit Nnamdi Kanu's imprisonment and get him released. I'm talking to you, dear President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I am telling you.
Which one is dear president? Is it dear president or dear? Because earlier she said their president. Now she's saying dear president. So we have to be able to choose one because at this point, while that's in Shelley, ṣé àwọn tí ṣòwò rẹ̀ ń bá da òwò pọ̀ lélẹ̀ àtẹ̀síbà ọlọ́run ṣàǹjọ rẹ̀ o.
With immediate effect to revisit Nnamdi Kanu's imprisonment and have him released immediately. Because by the time Omoyole Sowore becomes the president, Nnamdi Kanu will release the next minute.
I hope they told Sowore what they were going to say before they said it. Want to become governor of a state in Nigeria, but you support somebody who wants Nigeria to break up, and then you are demanding that the president releases the person, and you're saying that your president, Sowore, will release that person immediately. In other words, the reason he's trying to become president is to go and release Nnamdi Kanu, and you want Nigeria to vote for you. Do these people not have sense? Oh my shit. I mean, if don't have go, what I got there, all I brought got on. But somebody did a video about tribalism. Someone says, I see what you're writing in the comment section. I don't want to mention that because, but sincerely, Nigeria, the bar is low as far as political representation is concerned in Nigeria, which is why I challenge folks here. If you are passionate about politics, please get involved. Get involved. The worst of us should not be the ones even, there's something about aspiring, not even becoming the head though, or becoming the appointees or the elected officials, but the guts to even aspire. It's weird that it's the least of us. It's the worst of us in some instances, not all, clearly, but terrible human beings are trying to become leaders and governors and chairmen, local governments and presidents in this country. It's ridiculous. So if you're passionate about politics, please get involved, right? Go clean up the stable or clean out the stable. Anyway, like I said, she's not alone in her ridiculousness. There's somebody else who did a video about tribalism in Nigerian politics. Please take a listen to him.
I'm Yoruba, I have to go for Yoruba. I can't betray my parts. That's just the reason. If you my trial, but I'm still go for Tinubu. As per say it's Yoruba, and I'm also Yoruba. Let's all vote for a better country. I don't have access to go for Tinubu. Go for your choice. So we say, because you go for Tinubu, this is happening, that is happening. Go for your choice. And whoever enters.
This is one of the problems of Nigeria. You can see him acknowledging that Peter Obi might try you, but I'll vote for Tinubu, because I'm a Yoruba person. Tribalism, it runs so deep. That's even why I don't care about racism in this country that I live in the United Kingdom, because I know that the tribalism I face in Nigeria is way worse than the racism I have ever faced since I moved to the UK. But that's by the way. People like this, is it that they don't understand that when you vote for someone solely because of their tribe, that does not exempt you from the consequences of that bad choice? Your tribe will not exempt you. If you vote for Tinubu because you are Yoruba, when things are tough for everyone, it will not be easy.
Let me say the truth, the people who say this nonsense and say it's wrong to do tribalism, let me give you the report of what they did. In the southeast, Peter Obi got about 90% of total votes. They didn't do it because he was Igbo, it was because he was competent. Abi, nonsense, it's a lie. Why do people began to say they're going to vote for Tinubu because he's Yoruba, and I get it. And guess what? I think more power to them. Because yes, I can come here and explain things and talk about his policies and his manifesto. Since you guys have chosen to be so nepotic and tribalistic about the things they are doing, others have the right to do the same. That's the point. And this is what actually irks me when Igbos talk about Nigerian politics. It's like what you are guilty of, you then find a way to project it onto others and say, oh, we don't do things like that here. But let me teach you how you do politics. You don't do tribalism, because when you do tribalism, it's not going to, absolve you of the responsibility, and it's not going to shield you from the consequences. The point is, where you come from, that's literally what you do. I'll play you a video just so that we are all on the same page, because we must hear English together. Take a listen to this one.
Looking at me, you will know that I'm coming from the Igbo tribe. And this message is to remind you that no governor in the whole of Southeast, not even my own governor, has the right to tell me who to vote for, who to give my future to. He doesn't have that right. He does not even have, or no governor has the right to tell the whole of Southeast people the person to vote for. So whoever that is promising Tinubu that the whole of Southeast will vote for him, whoever that is giving him that assurance that he's going to get about 90% of votes from Southeast, is lying. Ndị Igbo will vote right. Ndị Igbo will vote for competence and not for Murumuru again. And we will stand to defend our votes. So it's not going to work again. It did not work during the first election, 2022. Is it now that it's going to work when we see signs and wonders? I don't know how they are going to achieve that. But let me tell you that Ndị Igbo are standing with P2B, not because P2B is our brother, no, but because P2B is the right person.
P2B was government in Anambra State. Go through Twitter, go through Facebook, that period. Look for people's comments about P2B. I've not found one positive thing they had to say about P2B. The reason they are following him is because he's Igbo. Guess what? I don't have a problem with it. Do I think you should vote for Yoruba? Because you should vote for Tinubu because it's Yoruba? If that's your reason, that's okay. Elon Musk said something the other day. Politics is tribal, not rational. It's tribal. And tribal is not about just ethnicity. It's about the group of people that you believe in. People vote for others sometimes because they just like their face. I like his face. He speaks so nicely. I'm going to vote for him. Here's the point. What you should not do is that you cannot reduce, if that is the level of your understanding of politics, and you want to do it, don't demand something higher from others. That's my own business. That's my own point. I think you should vote for Tinubu, not just because it's Yoruba, clearly. Look at his policies, look at his manifesto, look at his antecedents, look at what he's doing right now, and then you can come to a sensible conclusion about why you should vote for him. That's what I would expect. And that's what I encourage. However, are there people that will vote for him because he's Yoruba? Of course there are. And the point is, if that's the reason, some people vote for him because he's dark in complexion. A lot of black people voted Obama just because he was black. That was it. It wasn't because he had one manifesto or policy or anything. Just the phenotype was enough for them to sell him to them, like, we are voting. People vote emotionally. That's one thing. But here's the point. You can address that. But you see, if you come from a place where the vast majority of your ethnicity votes based on ethnic affiliations, you cannot lecture Nigeria about don't vote on anything on tribalism nonsense. It doesn't make sense. I'll read some data to you, and I'm going to play you a couple of videos. We need to talk in this country, right? We need to talk so that we don't, have people just assume that they get to come around and lecture us about how to do things. Come on, shut up. All right, let's do something here. Yeah, Elon Musk says politics is tribal rather than logical. And I think he's right. Now, there's something I want to read. Okay, good, I found it. Last election, in Enugu State, Ashwaju got 4,772 votes. Kwakwanso got 1,808 votes. Atiku got 15,749 votes. Peter Obi got 428,640 votes. $428. That means you have to multiply Tinubu's results by almost 1,000. Abi? No, 100. You have to multiply what he got by almost 100 to get what Peter Obi got in Enugu. In Ebonyi, Tinubu even did better. He got 42,402. Kokonso got 1,661. Atiku got 13,503. Peter Obi got 259,738. The kind of gap where Peter Obi take with everybody for in region. Now those people will tell you about tribalism. In Anambra, it was 5,111 votes to Tinubu, 1,967. Why is this man just the 1,000 area? Was Kokonso. Atiku got 9,036. Peter Obi got 584,621. These were the same people that were complaining about Peter Obi when he was governor, saying he was the worst governor in the Southeast. It's on social media. You can just look for it. It's all over the place. And even if you delete it, people have snapshots. I have snapshots as well. In Abia, Tinubu got 8,914 votes. Kokonso 1,239. Atiku 22,676. Peter Obi alone got 327,095. If a Yoruba person here and you have somebody come around telling you that, oh, you guys are tribalistic, don't vote for your brother because you want to prove that you are all those nonsense they always speak. Just remind them of the results of last election. Let me even give it. In fact, there's Imo State, but let me just give it the final the results according to zones. In the Southwest, Bola Ahmed Tinubu got 58.4%. You are the tribalists they're talking about, though. Because this is beyond somebody's, making content on social media and saying, don't vote based on tribalism. I'm not even talking just about him. I'm talking about the reality of Nigerian politics. 1 second. Let me switch the audio source for a second, please. Let's make it better. One 1 second, please. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Okay, good. So I was saying, I want to read out to you the 2023 presidential election results by zones. In the Southwest, Tinubu got 58.4% of the entire region. Abubakar got 21.6%. Peter Obi got 19.5%. Kwakwanso got 0.38%. In the South-South, Peter Obi got 44.1%. Tinubu got 29.1%. Atiku got 26.1%. Kwakwanso got 0.63%. In North Central, Tinubu got 41.3%. Peter Obi got 33.2%. Atiku got 24.1%. Kwakwanso got 1.4%. Stay with me. In the Northwest, Tinubu got 41%. Atiku 33.9%. Kwakwanso 19.6%. Peter Obi 5.4%. In the Northeast, which is Atiku's own region, Atiku got, by the way, Northwest is Kwakwanso's base, but Tinubu won there. Northeast is Atiku's own region, just like Southwest is Tinubu's own region. So remember, Southwest, Tinubu, I'll tell you what about Southwest later. But Northeast, so let's start with Atiku. Atiku had 55.9% of the votes in the Northeast, his own region. 55.9. Tinubu got 29.9%. Peter Obi got 10.1%, and Kwakwanso got 4.05%. So Atiku won his region, but he won with 55.9%. Tinubu won his region, but he won with 58.4%. So you still have almost half to go around the others. In Peter Obi's region, Southeast, Peter Obi had 89.6% of the votes in Southeast. Tinubu had 5.8%, Atiku 4.2%, Kwankwaso 0.38%. So think about it. You go to the Northeast where Atiku's base, he got 55.9. Tinubu's base, he got 58%, 58.4. Peter Obi got 89.6. That's essentially 90% of his votes. And it's people from that region that tell everybody that they are tribalistic with their votes. No be juju be that. Take a listen to this very quickly.
Yes, I have.
So we tell you we are ready. I'm ready after the ballot paper.
Yes.
So of the top 3 candidates, that's Peter Obi, Atiku, and Tinubu. Who are you voting for?
Me, I'm Igbo. Though I'm married to Yoruba. But I would prefer my brother though.
Okay, so your brother, out of the 3.
Peter Obi.
Okay, so you be voting Peter Obi because he's your brother. Oh, you support your own brother.
You don't know what you want to do.
I have one question for you. If you answer correct, let us start with.
Because we voted for our brother, which we don't have regret about it. Our brother contested. The Yorubas voted their brother. Our brother that contested is qualified, whether I like it or not. I may not be his fan. I may not be his fan. I was close to Asawaju before now.
But you're a Labour Party member.
Yes, I said I was close to Asawaju now. Yes.
And you are to Peter Obi.
Yes.
But you are in
before I joined the Labour Party.
Okay.
Before, when did I join the Labour Party? Yeah. I joined the Labour Party.
Let me tell you what's sad about what you just listened to. See, the woman you heard, with all due respect to she belongs in a class in Nigeria that is not necessarily very educated or enlightened. Okay? So what she said. But the one that I just spoke is somebody who is in the political landscape and is on Politics Today with Sean Okinbalo. You're talking about the fact that they voted their brother. So whether you're looking at a person who is the lower scale in terms of, socioeconomic class, or you're talking to somebody who is higher up there, they're saying they voted their brothers. The question you should ask me is this: do you have a problem with it? And my answer would be no. I wish that was not why they voted for Peter Obi, but I have no problem with the fact that that's why they voted for him. Why? Because it's politics. People are emotional and tribal. Like I said earlier, vote for Tinubu for many reasons, like his policies and antecedents and things like that. However, a person who votes or a region that votes based on ethnicity should not be the ones lecturing others about. In Yoruba land, Tinubu lost Lagos State now, his own home base. He lost Osun State to Atiku now. Atiku only got 55% in his own region. The person got 90%, and you're telling everybody that they are tribalists because they didn't vote for your brother. Are you dumb? We don't talk about these things enough, and I think we should. Right? If you're on YouTube, I'm not muted. I don't know what's happening with YouTube these days, but we're good. I hope you can hear me. Someone says, for saying the truth, I respect her. I mean, it's neither here nor there for me. Like, I don't care why you voted your candidate. It's just that, just do what you want to do, but don't ever think of lecturing other people on what to do, especially when you don't have the capacity to even have such conversations. You can't come from the Southeast and be the one telling Nigerians not to vote for people because of their ethnicity. That's literally what you do. That's the point. May God bless all of us. Moving on. I got a clip recently of a former obedient who talked about what they did in the last election and how they rigged for P2B. It's quite interesting. And I thought I should share it with you. It was a based on Twitter, and this went down there. Please take a listen to this. Well, take a listen, please.
Tell us about obedience. Yeah, we want to hear. Tell us.
Actually, NSAS no integrate into obedience then. That was how my obedience started. So if I even have issue with my hand.
By the way, that's the story of most Yoruba people that got into obedient movement. They got there because they were in NSAS, they were angry with the government, they looked around to see what other movement they could join, and for some weird reasons, they said that, okay, obedient law, they'll come. That's how they got in there. Not because they sat down to think anything rationally about it. It was a herd movement, so to speak, and then they joined. Let's keep listening.
I don't know answer because I was obedient, like, let's to know good and run the younger person. After all the lies, you have feed the internet, check, go and fast check. You are not fast checking. They just listen.
You want fast check. Very supreme leader, they talk, not the fast check.
I will not the fast check to the jazz will do that time. You enter our head.
There is no jazz anywhere. Who's jazz? Just the same way you guys don't read terms and conditions. They say go and fact check, you will not check anything. You guys don't
actually,
you guys don't read them.
Actually, it's not even about the fast check. It's not even about the fast check.
Okay.
What actually happens, I was thinking Tinubu is good.
He's old.
That yes. So don't judge me for that. That was my thinking then. That he was not capable, we want somebody new since the old people have been trying. So I put my hand.
Sorry, I'll be pausing then. Here's the thing, right? This whole thing about age. I love young people to be in power, but please look around now. Look around. Look around. And look at the crop of young people you have. And it's an indictment on just about every one of us, just to be clear. But hear us talk now, talk Nigerian politics. Particularly the clowns that say they're in one obedient movement. They just sound like clowns. See the level of conversation, see the height of their conversation. Say, because we are young. So what? You can be young and stupid. It's a fact. There are people today who have money, but they've not gone beyond that teenage level of thinking. They're adolescent. You know, just because you're young doesn't mean you're going to make a better leader. They are young. Do we not have young men in the House of Representatives and in the Senate? I'm not mentioning any specific person. We have old men there. We have young men there. Do we not have young governors? I'm not mentioning anyone. Do you not have old? Tell me one that has done fantastically well just because of his age. Would I want to have a young governor? Of course. Young president, of course. But who? P2B. So here's the stupid thing. I'm angry. So you see somebody who is older, who has succeeded in doing things in his life, and he can point to you, in government, and he can tell you what he did. And then you see somebody who is young, who you insulted while he was governor, but because of his age, you now want to vote for him to become president. Because you just want age. It's the same, it's not different from the person who is voting based on ethnicity. Do you get the point? You're voting based on age. So, what does that mean? Is young, is Igbo, is Yoruba. That's your reason. And the one who votes based on age is accusing the person who votes on ethnicity that the person is tribalistic. You see how dumb people can be. One emotional person is accusing another emotional person. But let's go on.
My father auntie corrected me. My friend corrected me. Even my friend, I was a bit like, even now, I can put my life that who will not enter. Williams will enter. I was doing all my campaign. I said I can put my life there. That was it. It was very mad then. It was very mad. The way I carry out for head. No, actually, even on the day of election, I managed to be a PO. I managed to be a PO for presidential when it was. I was winning votes, giving votes out for the Labour Party. And at the same time, voiding the votes of APC.
Voiding the vote.
The result was called. Wow.
Ṣàìrí pé nǹkan tó ti lọ lórí ilé ó ní agbára ṣé ìgbọ̀n Yorùbá ẹ̀.
A lot of things went down in that 2022 election.
That
election there.
There is a lot of valuable things, contributions.
Was voiding election votes. And they don't tell everybody that, is rigging. What he's doing is actually criminal, though. They can laugh about it, but it's criminal. And the sad part is Yoruba. That's one of the reasons we do the things we do. Even if it's just one Yoruba person's head that can be correct from the conversation I say, I'm talking about the people who used to just follow, anybody. They just, even if it's one person that we're able to reach, at least that'll be one person that's worth it. One life saved. Dull. But let's continue. But at least he has changed now, so it's okay. Let's continue. Or is it okay? Well, it's okay. Hopefully it doesn't go back to it, but let's go on.
See, the obedience expired before the governorship. The obedience just expired before the governorship. Because I was giving them votes for the presidential. After we came out, after the election, trying to collation center, I think a day, I believe the same day, this year we went for interview. I don't know this interview they are going for. That was
who went for interview?
I want to ask a question.
Okay.
That election that you are rigging, right? Is it in Lagos or another state? He won't probe me. He won't report to the DSS. No, I don't now Lagos, I'm one of them. Lagos, I'm one of them. Everybody saying Lagos, I'm one of them. Lagos. So now so it take me now. Exactly. Now so it did. Yeah, Lagos, I'm one of them.
It's alright. Please continue.
So even well, not like I saw the MIT, I did that, I don't think about that one investment.
I don't think about it. So you don't pass as a Yoruba vote. Okay, now that was
I don't think Yoruba. I now look stupid like so me now. Am I stupid? I think Yoruba, I'm stupid. I was like, they don't even understand the language. They can't speak the language very well. And he wants to rule the Yoruba state. And he wants to rule Yoruba state. It was from that interview, he was saying that I was like, he wants to rule Yoruba state and Lagos is continental state. And again, when it's almost now, I have more questions. I have 2 questions for you.
No problem. Please, if you are a Yoruba board, if you are former Yoruba board, former obedient, former Yoruba board of the space, we want to hear your story, okay? Please.
So when we finish the presidential, I didn't talk. As the PO of my polling unit, I didn't even talk. I didn't even say anything. Even my assistant, I didn't even tell them what.
But wait, PO means polling. That's the officer of the polling unit. Polling officer.
I have my intention. I didn't tell them anything. So when the election was coming, I didn't give them votes like the last time for the governorship. From the governorship, I didn't give them votes at the last time. Because even people who did the elections together were also Yoruba. They never supported things.
Sorry, I made a mistake. It's presiding officer. Thank you, Motala. Presiding officer. I think when I said polling unit, that confused me. Presiding officer. Thank you so much. Let's keep listening.
But I'm the one that is the obedience. 2 of us are obedient. The rest of us are the APC. So I just shared the money. Then we went for the election. Even on that day, the polling unit center, on the collation center, I'm more of the I need to protest on that night again because we are unable to collect that. I lost my result sheet. But luckily for me, I Luckily for me, I already snapped it on my phone. So I have to go and do collation with the phone, with the record on my phone. Because I've already uploaded on my Givers already. And the IDF, I've already uploaded, done everything necessary first. So due to the protest on the collation center, that's why I lost the result sheet then, because everywhere was rowdy. So, and after the election, I've never returned back to the building. Anywhere where I see them, it's back to back. I don't even care on my time left for business. If you like do business with me, don't do business with me, I move forward. Tinubu now, yeah, the way I carry on for head, you know, the place my Nigeria carry for head. Because there's nothing you want to say about this one that will make me hate the man.
Personally, when people can change, right? And I think it's the beauty of life. A person can be an obedient or a Yoruba bot and then change later and then see the folly in the things they did and decide to turn a new leaf. So that's, that's a beautiful thing. There's nothing wrong with that. However, there are questions we should ask ourselves so that we also ensure that we don't repeat the mistakes. And the question is, let's assume that with all this rigging that he just confessed to and the things they did, let's assume that their preferred candidates, GRV and Obi, won based on the fact that they rigged. What do you think would have happened? What do you think would have happened in Yoruba land if, you had someone like GRV become governor? What do you think that if all the rigging that you guys did in Lagos or in South is all over the place, eventually now got Obi to become president, what do you think would have happened? These are the questions that we should ask ourselves. The consequences of all this herd mentality, following the happening person in town, essentially is based on the fad, the latest fad. It's not a very wise thing to do, is it? Anyway, there's another person who also used to be a member of the Obedient movement. He's also an ex-Obedient, but he was even more prominent than the gentleman who is a presiding officer at his election at the polling unit. This one is even more prominent, and he asked certain questions. His name is Chris Nwakobia. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Chris Nwakobia. And he was a member of the Obidati Presidential Campaign Council back in the day. But now he's asking questions that I hope Peter Obi gets to answer, and hopefully also helps other people. Also help other people who are still in the movement, but maybe they don't have enough strength and courage to get out of it. Here is something you should listen to. Take a listen to the gentleman, Chris Nwakobia. In this particular clip, he's talking about Peter Obi's mantra from consumption to production, and that apart from that, there's really nothing to it. Take a listen.
But in 2027, I won't be compelled to make that choice. And that's why I'm saying to them, if you want to rule Nigeria, go back to your closet and tinker with your manifesto and come out with issues, solutions, and fundamentals. Because we're going out from the next 2-3 weeks to tell Nigerians, for us, it's not just about the APC or the ABC or the NDC. It's about who has the solutions to our problems. We are going to the 774 local governments across this country. We're going to mobilize the 6 geopolitical zones to ask these questions. I don't want to hear, oh, I have not stolen before, or he has stolen. I want to hear what you got to do with issues about national security. I don't want to hear who have been caught or who.
But Peter Obi already told us now what he will do about security. He will relocate to Sambisa Forest. He will relocate to everywhere, every hotbed, hot spots. He will relocate to those places. That's his solution to Nigeria's security problem. The bar is too low. Let's keep listening.
Hasn't been caught. I want to hear fundamental issues about what you will do with education, healthcare, employment, agriculture. Victor, I said my talk.
Can you remember any major apart from that mantra, consumption to production? And then have they told you how they're going to move us from consumption to production? What are the takeaways? Surprisingly, you can't find any. You can't tell me. Victor, you can't tell me. Those who are campaigning for Peter Gregory cannot face a debate with an intellectually sound mind. None of these young boys will take you to the tailors. What will you do with climate change? Flood is everywhere. What will you do with curbing the rise in out-of-school children? What are you actually going to do with agriculture? Victor, we have arguably the largest arable land in the world because ours is very fertile. It's not like Chad, it's not like Sudan.
I like how you say we. When he says we, just know he's talking about the entire country. But anyway, the point here is that people are beginning to ask questions, and I think sensible people should also begin to note the difference between consumption to production as a mantra and consumption to production as a plan. There is no plan. You just have talking points. Amadi, everything you just wrote there, just know that your dad is the one you are addressing and the rest of your family members. Okay? Your family is a gathering of whatever you wrote there, and your father is the monumental whatever you wrote there. Okay? Say hello to him when you get home. Omona. Where was I? Sensible people are beginning to ask questions, and I hope more people ask. By the way, ask the same questions of Tinubu. And tomorrow I'm going to get into some of those things because he was asked certain questions, and you're going to listen to what he said, because at this point, we need to begin to move closer and closer to why Tinubu makes sense. Okay? I do that all the time anyway, but I want to get, spend more time on it. The point I'm trying to make is that the same question that we expect you to ask of it will be asked the same question of Tinubu. Why is it doing this? What is it doing? Are you going to get perfect scores? Is it going to get perfect scores for every question you ask? No. Is it going to get enough scores for you to know that he knows what he's talking about and is actually working towards that and is actually achieving something even now? Yes. Then you weigh your options and then you choose. Not just because somebody is shouting, church, take back your country. It's a religious war. Consumption to production. Just absolute nonsense. I will go to the forest. I will go and stay there. To do what? Are you a hunter? I'll go there. And you're not a warrior. The way you even sound, sir, we can tell. Anyway, there's another clip where the former obedience also said some interesting things. I'll play that for you as well. In this place, he talked about how Peter Obi managed Anambra State compared to how Chris Ngige managed the state. Take a listen to this.
Every so often I hear my brother talk about how he saved money in Anambra State. Even the opposition is so lazy they can't even come with the facts. Yes, he saved those monies. Victor, are you aware? What state are you from? Adia. Okay. Let me make you laugh. Are you aware that as bad as it was, the government of Chris Ngige managed poverty better than Peter Obi's government in Anambra State? Are you aware? The statistics are there. Are you also aware that Obiano managed poverty better than both of them? When he was governor, it was about 46% poverty rate. When Peter Gregory was governor, it was about 52% poverty rate. When Obiano was governor, it was between 16 and 22%, or 26%. So in actuality, you'll ask yourself, governmental statistics, who was the better governor? When I hear people, I need to see statistics, I need to see a manifesto that addresses the phone. Don't tell me you save money. Governance is not about saving money. I hope I'm not doing the job for the APC. Governance is about serving the people, about reducing poverty, about creating jobs, about making the economy work.
What's the funny thing about this interview? By the way, it was on Symphony, and it was hosted by a man named Victor. This man, every time people speak about Peter Obi, he always has something to say. If you say he's not doing the right thing, he always has something to say to correct you or to... This is why I don't believe in all this. I'm objective, because he finds a way to explain away Peter Obi's, incompetence, and then finds a way to explain how, make excuses for him. In this particular video, he could not say one word. That's so beautiful. And I think I know the reason. The person he's talking to is a fellow Igbo. I was also an Obi supporter. And he was one of the people in the presidential, Obi Dati Presidential Campaign Council. So what exactly are you going to tell him that he doesn't know? This is the person they want us to vote for in Nigeria. God will not allow it. Like the man said, God, God will not allow it. I mean, I think, and this is a test I think people should try. Whenever you hear these folks shout, "Oh, you must vote for him" and everything, just ask them if it's an hypothetical situation. It's a hypothetical scenario, but I think it works. If the Southeast were to be a country on its own, an independent country, would they vote? Just ask them, would you vote for Peter Obi? It sounds ancient. Maybe it's not as ancient, but it sounds very ancient to me. So you did already. What was the response you got? If you don't mind writing in the comment section, I'd like to read it. What response did you get when you said that? Most of them would not want to have Obi become the Oga of Southeast. We're pushing nonsense to Nigeria. Anyway, I'll play you something else and then we'll pivot so that we can come to the end of today's session. And I'm not bringing people up because we started very late. So please, that's about the phone. Oh no. Thank you, Akiomaki. This man has changed names more times than, let me not use that example or comparison. I'm just trying to get used to one name. I don't see change here. Ogao. Mumbo. Let us listen to the man of the hour. The one that everybody we used to work with, asking him serious questions. Take a listen to Peter Gregory Obi.
I went to court of appeal. 5 judges have never made their judgment in my favor. So if you look at that and look at what is happening today in Nigeria, where professors are now aiding illiterates to rig election. Have removed forgery as an offense in electoral matter. As senior advocates of Nigeria are defending forgery. Our religious leaders are now praying for criminal politicians for blessing. We have a crisis, and above all, our judges are now singing, "For your mandate we stand."
I want to play you something that the same ministers that he's talking about, what one of them did on the pulpit, on the altar, with Peter Obi by his side. Take a listen.
Most often, and I want to tell Igbos, Japante, this is the...
Listen, no. Peter Obi is on the stage, held by a Catholic priest, and the Catholic priest is speaking to his mic, talking to the congregation, and this is what he said.
Most often, and I want to tell Igbos, Japante, this is the chance, and you will. Now is the time. If we miss this opportunity, forget those people who have been promising you Igbo presidency in the next 4 years, or in the next 8 years. They have been making the promises, those promises, from time immemorial, and they never fulfilled it. Now is the opportunity and the time we have. Amen and amen.
Amen.
So, be encouraged. And your brothers are praying for you. Your brothers and sisters are praying for you. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Most often, and I want
Peter Obi will not sit you down to actually explain anything, but to form, this, what I detest about his conversations as far as politics is concerned is the assumption of moral superiority. It's ridiculously, it's nonsensical. Our pastors are doing this, our judges are doing this, our clinical are doing this, but I will come and save you. Who? You? How? You don't even have the capacity to do so, but well, in Nigeria, so everybody can talk. But I'm glad that people are asking questions, and I think it's really important that they do. The funny thing about Peter Obi is now he's talking all these things. Remember, while we're preparing for the last election, 2023, when Emefiele was busy running his whatever scheme he was going all about at the time, Peter Obi supported him. When he changed the currency, everybody knew was working against Tinubu and it was going to affect him. Peter Obi said, it was okay, it's okay now. There's nothing wrong with what Emefiele was doing. The thing is, the same Peter Obi was saying Malami was being persecuted. So if government doesn't go after corrupt people, it's because they're in cahoots with them. If they're going after them and you like that particular person, it's because government is persecuting them. The man is unstable when it comes to politics. Anyway, this is the best we would do. Shall I just go over the place talking? Nothing much is going to come out of it. We already know. No big deal about that. Before we go today, let us go to our final news item. Okay, this is from the gentleman at Nairametrics, and he said something. I think I want us to just spend some time on it before we go. Number, you've heard the fact that people are suffering, people are dying. That's one word, that's one phrase that people use a lot, or two phrases, like a sentence after all. People are dying, people are suffering. You hear politicians saying it, newsmen saying it, journalists making their talking point. You go on TV, they can't ask you two questions without mentioning people are dying, people are suffering. Turns out that the same country where people are dying and suffering, a lot of things have been going on in this country. I'm going to tell you something very soon about it. But before I tell you my own bit, let me have you listen to the gentleman from Nairametrics. Take a listen, please.
Hey everyone, Ugodre here, and this just happened. So Nigeria spent a whopping $1 billion in 6 months on beer, malt, and spirits. $1 billion. That is basically 1.4 trillion. Now, where did I get this figure from? I got this figure from the financial statements of 3 of the largest brewers in Nigeria. Nigerian breweries, Guinness, and international breweries. Nigerian breweries, like you know, those ones sell Heineken, they sell Gouda, they sell Maltina, and they host of other drinks, Desperado and all that. Guinness does Guinness Stout, they do Malty Guinness, they do Origin, they do Dubic Malt as well. And then international breweries, which is the second largest brewer, those ones, they do Hero, they do Trophy, they do Budweiser, they basically distribute Budweiser in Nigeria, and they do Grand Malt. So between these 3 guys, these products that they sell generated $1 billion, 1.4 trillion naira. In fact, Nigerian breweries alone accounted for 800+ billion of that amount. And what's also interesting is that they all recorded an increase in revenue because they increased prices in March. Yet, you guys still spent all this money drinking beer, malt, and spirit. I think they said Gen Zs don't drink beer anymore or drink spirits anymore. So what changed? How is that these guys were still able to change their prices, adjust their prices, yet we were able to still spend this much on beer, malt, and spirits in 6 months? Just shows you how resilient this economy is. Like, I thought they said things were very hard. So how come they increased prices not once, not twice? In fact, they've been increasing prices every year, but their revenue numbers keep going up. Something is not adding up here. Someone please explain to me in the comment section. I want to know.
You know all this thing about people are crying, people are suffering, people are dying. I mean, people are suffering and should empathize, but people are also spending money. How do you explain 1.4 trillion naira on drinks in 6 months? Does that change the fact that people are suffering? Of course it doesn't, but it tells you that definitely, clearly, a lot of people are also drinking. People are building. Houses are going up. The real estate market is not, there's no downturn in that economy, or in that sector of the economy. And people, you keep hearing people are dying. So you ask the question, are you talking about your family members not eating? And because the person who is telling you that as the base of his conversation is literally maybe just coming from a lounge or a beer parlor. It's interesting. But it's on that clip I want you to take a listen to as we wrap up.
In the last 3 years, we have experienced growth, the macroeconomy, the basic micro. People will tell you a big power or whatever, but what we are seeing, the figures are different. Clearly, I was going through Money Point report. We spent 1.3 trillion on bread last year. I'm telling you, you don't just fact check me, right? Our markets are not empty, right? I'm not talking about.
Sorry, somebody says Nigeria now have epidemic of liver and kidney disease. The cost from that one, is not part of these drinks he's talking about, though. We've never talked about the fake industry, the fake drink industry, all those, I don't want to mention the brands, that they sell in lounges and clubs all over the country. They've not talked about the prices, what they made from those ones yet, though. Anyway, I really want you to listen to this one without the breaks. I apologize for the break. Let's start from the beginning.
In the last 3 years, we have experienced growth, the macroeconomy, the basic micro. People will tell you a big power or whatever, but what we are seeing, the figures are different on bread last year. I'm telling you, you don't just fact check me, right? Our markets are not empty, right? I'm not talking about Spa or whatever. I'm talking about our markets, our market movement, the informal sector, right, that are not captured. I'm talking about just Money Point platform alone, not OPay, not the normal banks, is 294 billion last year. You understand? Then if you now go to the macroeconomics, right now, as you speak, the fastest growing stock market in the world, the best, Google is Nigerian stock market. It is there. It is there. You understand? I'm talking facts. So the point is that, you see, the problem is the visibility of the principal is the problem. The problem is Ashwaju.
Can you expound on that phrase for us, please?
That's right. The visibility, when you are so visible, right, you become a victim of yourself. This about as if you used to go over for the past 27 years. You understand? It has maintained a particular level. And it's just rising. So, a lot of people see what they want to see themselves in him. So, if you want to attack the policy of this government, right? I don't know, they say the man is not doing anything. You understand me? So, but we just need a good place to communicate the achievement of this government. In the last 3 years,
You know the funny thing, somebody shared something from 2025 March, a survey that was conducted and published on Punch newspaper, saying Lagos men spent 661 billion naira on sex workers in 2024. That's almost, it's not almost 400 billion shy of 1 trillion. That was in 2024. Anyway, I like the last bit he added, though, the gentleman who was on TVC, when he said the visibility of Ashwaju is actually the problem. So people already have issues with him before he became president. And, the fact that he is who he is, folks wouldn't want to acknowledge that a lot of things have happened because, of him in terms of the growth we've experienced. They rather want to say things like people are hungry, people are suffering. Meanwhile, they're spending $1 trillion on bread, 1.4 trillion on drinks for just in 6 months. And like the person said in the comment section, you have issues with liver and kidney. But the point is, at least you have the money to even buy. Where do you get that purchasing power? The ability to spend that much while say people are hungry. Is that when they drink without eating? Someone says, how did they get stats on money from Olosho? I mean, that's something we're going to have to get into. But let me just say how to get it. Go to punchng.com and look for Lagos men spent 661 billion naira on sex workers in 2024 survey. It was published on 17th March 2025. All right, before I go, somebody asked in the comment section earlier what the senator said about Peter Obi and what Peter Obi said about the senator. Something going on in Osun State. I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. And what I think the senator should have said to douse the situation, the tension, and to make things a lot better. But he probably needs to do some work on his communication skills. That Senator Fadamsi, he said something that there's actually a way to explain it in Yoruba language, but I don't know why he didn't do that. Or maybe he meant the other thing he said, or he was reported to have said. We're going to discuss that tomorrow when we come and we'll listen to what he said, what he has been reported to have said, and then what he said in response to that as a rebuttal. And then we'll hopefully also learn how to communicate when it comes to politics. There's a very fine line we must be very careful of. We're going to call it a day now. Thank you very much for being here. And hopefully tomorrow we're going to get the blur that you're seeing on the camera, get it out. I mean, we may have to maybe get a new device or something, but I think there's something, I'll see if there's something we can do. But thank you very much for being part of today's session. If you're joining us for the first time, we do have the sessions every weekday, Mondays to Fridays. We discuss history, culture, politics, and innovation. So we'll be here again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Ife time, West African time. So please join us. I want to thank everybody who has power tapped, who has liked, who has shared the live stream, whether on YouTube, on TikTok, on Facebook, and also on Twitter. Thank you so much for your support. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Busui Oris, and also watch the videos we put out so we can all be informed as people. Also, I want to thank those who are giving gifts. A lot of people gave gifts, particularly T. Dan, because I saw your name come up a lot of times, and I really want to appreciate your generosity. Thank you so much for your support. And thanks to everyone who also supported the live stream today. Every rose, every coin, every heart me, whatever you gave, thank you so much for your support. All right. God bless you and may God increase you. Having said that, we've come to the end of today's show. We'll be here again tomorrow. I'm sorry I'm not bringing anybody up today because it's a bit late and I want to just get this stuff out and get information out and the opportunity to listen to folks. All right. So thanks so much for being here. Let's have the anthems. We're going to have the Nigerian anthem and then the Yoruba anthem. Please take a listen and sing along.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. The tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace or battle honor, and this we count as gain. To hand unto our children a banner without stain. ṣiṣẹ́ wa fúnlẹ̀ wa. Orílẹ̀-èdè wa. Kàgbéga, kàgbéga, kàgbéga fàyè rí. Ìgbàgbọ́ wa ni pé gbà tí bẹ̀rù làbọ̀ mọ́. Ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká jọba. Ìṣọ̀kan àtòmìnira ni ẹ jẹ́ ká máa lépa. Tẹ̀síwájú fọ̀pọ̀ ire àtòhun tó dára. Ọmọ òjò àdìdé bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ̀. Ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ gbogbo adúláwọ̀.
Àwa ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀, ìmọ́lẹ̀ wo ni wọ́ọ̀kùn lágbára Ọlọ́run. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ò ní bàjẹ́, a máa gbèrú sí ni. Nàìjíríà náà ò ní dàrú, ilé ìwọ̀ náà ò ní bàjẹ́. Gbogbo nǹkan tó bá dáwọ́lé, a máa yọrí sí rẹ̀ ní lágbára Ọlọ́run. May God bless you. May God keep you and cause His face to shine upon you. May all the things you lay your hands upon prosper. And may God bless your family. May God bless Nigeria, our country, and Yoruba land, our nation. Thank you very much for being part of today's session. Before we go, somebody asked a question on YouTube. It says, please, how does one do the gifts? So you can also send gifts on YouTube. And the way to do it, if you look in your comment section, you see where you type that stuff, that's the comment section. You see the send button. Beside it, you see a heart. That's, you know what, let me just show you. You see a heart icon. Under the heart icon, you see a $sign. When you click on that, you're sending super chats, and that's a gift. So see, let me just show you very quickly. I'll do this, maybe I'll do this again tomorrow though. But you see this side, you see the heart icon. Under the heart icon, you see something that looks like a $sign. Shetiri. Once you click on that $sign, you will have options like super stickers, super chat, and things like that. So yeah, so when you click on that, you will have options. All right, it says send a super chat. So when you click on super chat, you'll have options, the amount, then you can drag the stuff to pick the amount you want to send. All right, and as soon as you do, we're going to see it here. So you can just, come here and pick an amount, and then, so that's how it works on Twitter. Sorry, on YouTube, I meant to say. It's called super chats. All right, there's also super stickers. You send it, then you can pick the money that you want to send, the amount you want to send. Okay, so that's how it works. So maybe I should talk about it more often, so that people also see it. Or someone says this. Okay, Mr. Diowo says I see it. Is the one who actually asked the question on YouTube. So thank you very much for asking that question, and thank you for your support in advance. And thanks everybody. As a matter of fact, I think you're even supporting. The fact that you asked that question is support. But of course, I'm looking forward to your financial support as well. And that's to all of us. Let's support the live. Let's support the channel. So thanks so much for being part of today's session. I'll see you again tomorrow at 4 p.m. and we'll go deeper into politics. Hopefully we'll be able to get into history as well tomorrow. Do have a lovely night rest. Odaro.